actually. Not kickoff for the Q. No, this is kickoff for the Invitationals. This is our knockout round to decide who the top 4 are going to be jockeying for position in that vaunted top 12 spot, which means the top 8 will be taken from the Q. Starting off, we're going to be starting with Casterian Guards versus Equilibrium. Oh, there's Equilibrium. All right, cool. So just a quick chat. 1 second, let me let the folks know. All right, just to let folks know what's happening here, this is going to be a best of 3 with map ban, so we're going to get that going in shortly here. This is all Conquest. The maps for this one are Crimson Strait, Hibernal Rift, Polar Highlands, the Mining Collective, and Vitrix Station. Those are our maps that will be happening for the competitive season this year. We will also, and as I said, the invitational teams are being pulled out of the queue, and that is what we are watching right now. We're going to get everything going. Oh, goodness, let's not do that. All right. Getting the chat up. All right. Excellent. Right. So we're going to start here in a couple minutes. With me is Therox. Sorry for the scattered intro.
Yeah. No,
with me is Therox.
Yeah, it's Therox. Hey, I'm streaming over on MWO Leagues 2. So if you want to watch from my perspective, we can do that. Ivor's got the main channel over on MWO Leagues 1 for anyone who wants to get that angle.
Indeed. Yeah, so let's see. What are we gonna? Well, we don't know which map we're gonna start with, so ignore that map that is over there on my screen. We're not there yet. We're gonna sort it out. Because Casterian Guards coming in. What was their record for the seasons?
I was trying to pull that information up here. Casterian Guards had a. Well, I'm not actually seeing them playing in ISC at all. There they are, Division C. They had a 3rd place finish in Division C of Inner Sphere Coalition Season 5, which was the first tournament of the league. That will not have given them any points toward the Invitational. Where they got their Invitational points would be from later leagues. They had a Division B in Blood League Season 2 where they finished 4th. That also would not have given any points, I don't believe, for the Invitational. So they got in through Tournament of Stars, where they finished 1st in Division B. So they're a low seed in the Invitational. They're going up against the top seed here, Equilibrium. Casterian Guards is the 8th seed. So they have a very uphill battle here, but they have shown improvement throughout the year. You know, going from Division C in the first league to Division B, mediocre finish for the second league, and then winning Division B in the third league that led into the CS23 Worlds upcoming here. So we'll see whether they can pull off the upset. It would definitely be an upset if they managed to win today, though.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be a heck of a knockout. Honestly, EQ, one of the best. In the seasons here since picking up. I think with CS last year is when they came around. Newish team, so. But a whole host of hard hitters here with G-Ram, Ghosty, Nate, Polycat. Like every single person on here is a hitter.
Well, I mean, Equilibrium running down through their tournament, they finished 1st place in ISC Season 5. Then they went on to finish in 3rd place of Blood League Season 2. Again, Division A. They're playing Division A throughout the entire time here. And then they went ahead and they won Tournament of Stars Season 2. So, 2 wins in Division A and a 3rd place in Division A versus a team that was playing Division C, Division B, and then won Division B. So that's not, I mean, these teams haven't really, I don't know if these teams have actually faced each other in a competitive league before.
No, I think that's probably unlikely. So this will be an interesting matchup. Sorry, just getting some stuff up here.
Yeah, doing a bit in the background. So Equilibrium, I mean, names are pretty familiar. It's some former competitive players from various different teams, and then, they're current competitive players, but they've played with other teams in the past. Very familiar names, some new up-and-coming players as well. They've been recruiting and training talent as well. Whereas Castellan Guards, they are Eastern European team. I'm not as familiar with them, just from where they came from. You know, I don't play on the European server a whole lot. I'm not entirely sure where this team came from competitively. I know some of them are veteran competitive players, probably were playing with something like RJF in the past. I don't believe RJF is going to be participating in World Championships, I don't think. It's my understanding. So Castellan Guards is kind of flying that Russian language team here. So, you know, they've got competitive experience. They've shown an ability to win, but it's going to be a very difficult fight for them today.
All right, we're going to start off with our match selection here.
Okay, so we need to flip over to
Yep, over to the map screen. I am going to keep an eye on.
So for those that are unaware of how this works, we're doing a map ban here, where each team is picking out maps they do not want to play and maps that they do want to play. So there will be, this is a best of 3 today, I believe.
Yes, and they are selecting maps in order here. So it looks like we've got Vitric.
These are maps that they are not wanting to play, right?
No, these are maps that they do want to play.
Okay, so yes. Equilibrium has selected to play Vitric Station. That would be the first map played?
Yes, that will be the first map played. Sides to be chosen later. So the way that this is going to work, they're going to alternate choosing sides. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, or rather choosing maps 1, 2, 3, 4, and then whatever's left will be the 5th map. Yeah. And then team 2. So Castellan Guards will choose sides. All right. What do we end up with there? That
is Crimson Strait as map 2, and Hibernal Rift as the 3rd map.
All right, here we go. So we've got then Mining Collective and finishing with Polar.
Is it a best of 3 today or best of 5?
Sides. It's the best of 5.
Okay, so there is the possibility of all 5 maps being played.
Yes.
Well, there we go.
All right, I got to make things larger for myself to see here. All right, so it looks like Equilibrium is going to be team 2. All right, and with Crimson, Equilibrium 1. All right, again, we have a team 2 selection. Or rather, Castellan team 1 for Hibernal there. And Collective, keeping the same side. Or no. Yes, Equilibrium team 2. Sorry, first time trying to read this, folks. Thank you for your patience. Yeah. And then Polar Highlands.
I haven't personally been involved in the map ban phase before.
Yes, so this will be entertaining. All right, so map ban is complete. We're gonna head back on over to our lobby screen temporarily before we go and chat about the match. All right.
Yeah, I guess we should run through the format here for the tournament. It is 8v8, and it's Conquest. All 5 caps are active. Anyone who's wondering here. So Conquest 8v8. So we've got more than 8 players in the lobby currently for some of these teams. There are up to 12 players on the roster, but only 8 players are going to be in the match for each team. And so there's a weight class and a tonnage component to the rule set here. And I want to make sure I get that right. I believe they can go up to 3 mechs of a chassis. So they can have up to 3 lights,
3 mechs of each one,
up to 3 assaults, but they cannot have 4 lights, for instance. And the tonnage limit, I mean, I remember it's relatively high. I'm trying to actually look that up right now. I don't want to get it wrong.
It is 480, pretty sure.
80. That sounds correct to me. I'm actually
Right,
trying to find it here, but
confirm.
I don't have it in front of me.
Yes, it is 480 tons. Wanted to confirm that before I said a hard yes. That's why we have our documentation.
Yeah, I've got the quick reference open here, but it doesn't actually have the tonnage on it. So, whoops.
So yeah, we will find some interesting mix-ups. Usually, there's a question of how big is your wolf pack going to be? Is it going to be 3 or 4?
Yeah.
And that can really decide a game right there. And actually, let's talk about Vitric Station. I'm going to switch on over to
The map scene.
my map room here. Where is that? Oh, map room. There we go.
Okay, map room.
All right, yeah. So we are looking here at Vitric Station. Let me clear some of that out.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got basically this should be a top fight.
I would expect,
just
yes.
saying, like, you know, we've got from Team 2 side, you're gonna see folks coming up here and fighting on the top.
Now, saying that it's a top fight, I don't think that necessarily means that teams are both going to play toward the Theta ridges here at the ramps. I don't think they're going to push up the ramps. That's not what I'm anticipating. I think that at least Equilibrium is going to be playing a range game. They're going to be sitting out on the sides, I do believe, with a couple of their range assaults, and then putting some others on the top. But definitely, this is a map that has a definitive top and bottom level. And yes, the caps are on the bottom level. You do have to send a light down to get Theta, but you definitely want to be playing on the upper portion of the map as much as possible if you're doing range play. And if you're bringing Brawl, you need to anticipate your opponent's going to be playing range up top and bring jump jets. If you're brawling, absolutely 100% jump jets.
Yes. And it's one of those maps, if one person drops, you all got to drop.
Yeah.
You have to be doing, because you can't be getting caught out in those sort of, you know, 6v5 fights and whatnot. But I do agree with you. I'm just marking up the map here.
Yep.
With some items on some of those positions, roughly. You know, you're going to see some traders out here on the sides.
Yeah, traders like direwolves or night gears, Otter 2s, that type of thing, off on the sides, just as an anchor mech, and then having maybe some more mobile range mechs on the top, I would expect. If teams elect to brawl, I mean, the Crusader is a very strong mech. In any tonnage league, I think the Crusader is basically an auto-include in your drop deck at this point in time. And Crusaders can be more of the brawl build, depending what you put on it. But I would not expect both of the teams to be electing to play brawl today.
No, I would expect traders. Casterian guards might try to pull a brawl, but we'll see how that turns out. Versus a skilled trade team, a brawl is going to be problematic, of course.
Yeah.
But so we will, especially if they're holding the top as they should. So we'll see how that works out.
They might attempt to go for a brawl here, though, because when you think that you're outskilled by your opponent and you're not going to win them in a trade war, and you know, we're facing a situation here between a first seed and an 8th seed. If you don't think you can out-trade your opponent, you got to try something else, and that something else is going to be brawl. And if you do the homework, you find the pathing routes, maybe you just manage to pull it off. And you only need a couple map wins here. You know, you have a couple chances at it. I would be a little bit disappointed if Casterian's guards just try to do a straight range trade against Equilibrium here, just because of my perceived difference in terms of these teams' skill levels. I don't think Casterian guards is going to succeed at doing range trading. They might still try it. Maybe they'll surprise us, but I hope they've prepared something else, some sort of trying to just catch Equilibrium off guard a brawl strat or you know, even an LRM strat on one of these maps. I don't think Vidric Station's the one you'd pull it off on, but just to try and find a win where you're not comparing, you know, ability to click heads at 800 meters.
Yes. Yeah, we'll see. I think that is gonna have to be Hysterian Guard's approach here. They have to start using unconventional things. There we go. We are actually locked.
All right.
We've said about all we can here. We will be taking more time to discuss the way things go going forward. Reminder, catch Therax's view on MWO Leagues 2, and we're gonna go ahead and we are at time. So we are in fact going to launch. All right, here we go. The first map in the Invitational Knockout round, and
Yes.
the first match ever of Competitive Series 2023.
Starting up the worlds here with the Invitational. And Ivor is over on the main MWO Leagues channel. I'm on the secondary. So if you don't like what you're seeing on the one, you can check out the other. Or you can try and watch both camera angles. Maybe we can do a little bit of, you know, you spectate Team 1's trade angles. I spectate Team 2's trade angles, that type of thing.
Yeah, actually, let's divide it up that way. I'll keep an eye on Team 1. Might be the way to go. And this is a little bit of an experiment. I don't know that this has been done before, so bear with us, and we would love to see your feedback. Also a reminder, it is a 7-minute delay now. It is not a 5-minute delay any longer. So
Yeah.
if you have like instant feedback, we're not going to see that. All right, so I'm over here with Equilibrium looking at a Mislinks, a Kodiak, a Kit Fox, a Mad Cat, a Crusader, Arctic Cheetah, no, Arctic Wolf, he's some crow, Viper, and a Highlander. Let's take a look. Med Pulse, small lasers on the Arctic Wolf, so a bit of a the Crusader. Geez, all right, so we've got machine guns with some heavy mediums on the Viper, so that one's going to take more of a higher position. Let's see, we've got a bunch of machine guns on Chicken Man's Mislinks, a mix of them, which is not something you typically see. Let's see what the Kit Fox is running here real quick. SRM Bomber Kit Fox and their traders. We've got Gauss Large Pulse, Gauss Vomit on GRAM, Basalt with the 4 AC-10 and single ERPPC, and LB-20, a few Large Pulse and SRMs on the Highlander. Sorry, that took me a hot minute. Let's talk about Casterian Guards.
Yeah, Casterian Guards is bringing a whole bunch of PPCs, ERPPCs, light PPCs, that type of stuff, but they've backed it up with a lot of SRMs and some red lasers. So Executioner, 2 ERPPCs with 6 small pulse, 4 ER micro, Quick Draw with 2 ERPPC, 3 SRM 6, very much a bracket build. Crusader is ERPPC and 12 small lasers, also a standard bracket build there. The Huntsman, ERPPC, small pulse. Timberwolf is a kitchen sink build with ERPPC, SRM6, heavy smalls, and clan machine gun. Timberwolf Prime there, that'd be a machine gun in the center torso. I've seen them use that to effect in the past. It does look very kitchen sinky, but it's worked for them. Light PPC and SRM on the Huntsman, and sorry, not Huntsman, Hellspawn. And then the Shadowhawk is going to be running Stumped PPC, Stumpnose PPC, and SRMs, and then the Firestarter over here harassing the flank, which has taken a little bit of early damage, is light PPC, small laser. Now there's a push here.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say let's get into the action here. Equilibrium taking a push against Rage Trade. Enova dropping. I'm not sure what happened to that Crusader, but it happened fast.
Assaults, open center torso, Kodiak 3 about to go down.
Stereo going down, Jinto going down. Nice.
This is going fast.
Man. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we are 1 to, oh boy, it is 1 to 5 at the moment in favor of Equilibrium with this push. Casterian, just the focus fire here is incredible with EQ. They're just, what are they shooting on these things? Legs. All right, they're going legs, but their focus fire is so intense. It's just so fast.
Yeah.
They started off down on that armor count, Mokor going down, and that's our final one. 1 kill here on the part of, I think I got things swapped here because of that initial thing. Sorry about that, everybody.
Not the teams I was expecting to be pushing here, but based off the builds that they brought, the ERPPCs were forcing them into a push situation. Equilibrium did need to make that move, and they pulled it off quite successfully.
Oh yeah, it was looking a little rocky at start, but they just really turned it around. All right. Let me log some stats here real quick.
I did not set up a scoreboard scene. That's what I forgot.
That's all right. I got you. It'll be over at Leagues 1 here momentarily. Yeah, so sorry about some of the snafus there, guys. We got a lot going on. Match switching will be cleaned up here.
Yeah, so MWO Leagues 1, are you going to have the components destroyed and damaged?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
okay.
am swapping that over now. I just had to wait for it to
My
load.
apologies. One thing I forgot
all
today.
good. All good. Yep, there we are. Yes, there are the scores. If you want to go down those, I'll get things set up here because we
Yeah,
are
so
swapping
just
sides.
looking at the
Here to go.
damage totals, Equilibrium coming out ahead with top damage there from GRAM and the Mad Cat with 500. Everyone else on the team is 300 damage or less. So actually not much damage on their team total, but you know, nobody really had outstanding damage. I mean, 500 as the top damage in an 8v8 is not that high, relatively speaking here.
All right. All right. So I'm going to get these teams started. We are going to use the whole 10 minutes here to chat about, let's talk about what happened there. Just real quick, going to scoot on over to our map room. So basically we did see a bit what we expected. So Casterian guards on the team 1 side. Oh, hang on. I need to actually start that timer there. All right. So Casterian guards on the team 1 side held back. Actually, I think they spotted that push relatively quickly, and like we did say, they did. I'm going to set myself up in green here. They did throw a couple of people out on the wings here just to try to deal with some stuff. Now, Equilibrium coming in where it looked like they were actually taking a lot of damage. 3 of their mechs were down somewhere around 80%. As they made their approach, particularly the big one. So Casterian guards actually trading fairly well. I suspect if they had maybe a little more focus fire on that, which is difficult to do at some ranges if you're expecting a mid-range fight, which it seemed like they did a bit. So they're doing their best there. And then coming up to Theta now, a couple of the Equilibrium mechs did drop, actually. We saw right before their push. So we had a couple of mechs going up each of the ramps here. And 3 mechs coming down from the bottom as well up those ramps. So really just spreading out that push, giving it lots of targets to choose from for Casterian guards. And also here is sort of the absolute key on that is that Equilibrium's focus fire on the legs. It seemed it was so quick. We really didn't have much to talk about it once that push started. It was just bam, 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 mechs down so quickly and so impressively. It was the focus fire was incredible there.
Yeah, very, very well done from Equilibrium there on focusing the fire. The kills very quick there. You were saying. One thing that I'm gonna pull up the map strat here a little bit.
Yep.
And one thing I'm gonna point out is that Casterian's guards, they were using the side ramp a little bit out of Delta 3 with the Firestarter and I believe the Shadowhawk were kind of coming up that ramp from behind while Equilibrium was making their push over the ramps. So they had a little bit of harassment in the back, but they kind of just ignored that Firestarter, which it's got 2 light BPCs and I think it was 5 small lasers or maybe 6. If you're getting rear shots, you can kind of put in a little bit of damage there, but if everybody's just continuing to push past you and killing your bigger mechs faster, I guess there just isn't enough DPS on that Firestarter to really force the turn. But not the team I was expecting to bring the push there out of Equilibrium. So I'm wondering if they're going to keep that aggression up going forward in these other maps. Our next map up is going to be Crimson Strait. Is it, if I've got that correct?
Yep. Yeah, let's shift into chatting about that. Where is Crimson Strait? Here we go. So we've got Equilibrium up here on the top by Epsilon, and we've got Casterian guards down here by Team 2. Hang on, did it not switch?
Well, we've got Equilibrium on Team 1 from what I've got. Wait.
There it is. Okay.
There we go.
Sorry, I was just checking up on the screen and I'm like, I swear to God, I switched that overlay. Caught it a little bit late, but I did catch it. It's interesting that it took so long to switch. But in any case.
Yeah, so Castellan guards, again, going to be playing out of the red team here. What? So we saw this map being played in the 3v3 format for Intersphere Coalition, was it? And very much it was about island domination, where the teams were just going to push over to the island. I mean, sometimes both teams are pushing the island and kind of just brawling on the island, because the Kappa Cap is so far off to the side that teams were kind of electing to sometimes ignore it. Now in the 5v5, Theta decreases in importance even more, and with both teams spawning near the island, and all 4 caps are kind of within range of the island there, I'm not sure what are we going to see anyone even attempting to go for Theta, or is that something that these teams are going to be playing more of an aggressive style, fighting over the other 4 caps and just kind of ignoring Theta? So for Team 2, I think your key positions, if you're ignoring the island, you definitely have to go saddle and bring your range traders up onto saddle and kind of play Sigma, Kappa, and Theta as your 3 caps. But it's a very small area on the platform and saddle to put all your traders up there. So I think you definitely have to consider, island, or you can put in extreme range traders behind Kappa. But with 8 mechs available, I don't know if there's really enough room on the map to just be ignoring the island. From Team 1 perspective, they maybe have a little bit more options in terms of trade locations, either the rocks over along the waterline, Delta 3, Delta 4, or playing on the in the rear of, like, what do you call that, High City, Charlie 5, kind of shooting over across Gamma. But Team 1 doesn't have as easy access to the platform, so I think that gives more emphasis on importance to the island for equilibrium here.
Yeah, I would largely agree, and we'll see where the Wolfpack ends up going, right? Because we will see Theta play. We have to. That is the third point there. So we're going to send some lights out to Theta. I don't know how much coverage we're going to get. Maybe 1 coverage in the saddle from Team 2.
I don't know if anyone's going to play, like, if you play aggressive, you can ignore Theta and just, like, take your 4-pack of lights and the rest of your team and just ball up and push, or play aggressive trade positions as well with harassment from your Wolfpack. I mean, if the Theta is so far out there that if Team 2 sends a mech over saddle to go to Theta, the second they step on Theta, you start pushing, that's going to be like a minute and a half before that light mech can get back to help at the island. As fast as lights are, that is a bunch of grids to get moving. And same goes for Team 2. If Team 1 sends their lights behind the mountain to go for Theta, they're not getting scouting intel from them. There's a possibility that if you send too many mechs to Theta, you don't have them in the main fight. If you get brawl pushed, you could end up losing before your lights get back. And if you don't send enough mechs to Theta, then you could end up getting jumped without any support from your range mechs, if your range mechs are set anywhere other than in the saddle. They're not able to help at Theta. So what we've seen here in the past, in Intersphere Coalition, it was a 3-cap format, 6v6, Intersphere mechs only, or I don't believe this map was played Tournament Stars, but even in Blood League, the 7v7 format, I don't know if what we saw in the past with Crimson Strait are the strats that we're going to be seeing in a 8v8 5-cap format like the World Championships.
All right, Derek, I hate to cut you off there, but we are going to launch here. We're at but yeah, so we will switch over to match overlay for me. Correct, or mistake corrected.
Enough talking, not enough playing.
Here we go. And to your point, it is the balance of that wolf pack. I think that is going to make the difference here and how they play. If you do decide to brawl, you're right, you can ignore Theta, but if your brawl takes a minute, you're going to be in trouble there if the other team does take it and manage to get like their flea back or something particularly quick. But we'll see. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a cap spider here, just to take Theta and get off it in like the 2 seconds, because some of them are really powerful, like the single snub. kind of a spider with that cooldown quirks are insane.
Cap Spider, I mean, maybe I've got a misread on the meta, but I don't think, I don't know. I mean, we've seen it in past World Championships, but having one mech dedicated to capping without fighting is risky strategy. I'll let
Oh
you
well,
get
I mean, it could
Equilibrium.
still fight is the thing with those snubs. But in any case, here we go. Looking at SRM Commando, that's probably going to be our cap mech. There, we've got a Viper, and just trying to do it here. A Shadow Cat here. What's on that Shadow Cat? A Curiosity. A lot of people have been doing Peeps, Micropulse, and a machine gun here for GRAM. Where'd the rest of my mechs go? All right, we've got our Skull here. All right, moving for speed. Again, we're looking at PPCs and an LB20. So it looks like we've got a lot of traders coming here from Equilibrium.
Yeah,
Things are particularly dark on my end for some reason. There we go. All right,
so
here we go. Nate and the Viper.
Castellanian Guards also brought a lot of trade. ER Large, Blood Asp, Goss, ER Large, Direwolf. They've got a flea headed over to Theta right now. The Skull was 4 LPL, so that's more mid-range. The Timberwolf was that ERPPC kitchen sink build again. So there's a fair bit of range trade here from Castellanian Guards, but some of them are more of a mid-range deck. And with that Ryan 2C having the LPLs and the mask, it is a very mobile mech. So they're definitely going to be making a move here. Now, Shine Plasma is stepping on the cap.
Yeah, and we're looking at Equilibrium over here, taking the island at this point. They started initial trades at the Epsilon point. They're now moving over onto the island, taking that and taking over actually quite a lot of ground, uncontested at that point, as it looks like Casterian Guard is setting up around the saddle to protect Theta there, or try to snag Theta, as the case may be. Now, what are we looking at? Their Rancor is tucked up in the hills here. What is Old House
6 ER Large
trying to
on
do
that
here?
Rancor, Blood Asp, but has a range quirk. So that's a very good shooting position up there. You can command a lot of the map. The Direwolf's playing low ground in front of the cap here, taking a little bit of incoming damage, but their flank is guarded by a single Wolfhound. So Wolfhound is medium pulse, is kind of maybe sitting in a bit of an ambush location there, but the rest of the team is not really there with that Blood Asp Direwolf. At the moment, because they were securing Theta. Now they're coming back.
Old Hasu, got to take a look at that. It looks like he got nearly opened up. Let's see if we can get there. No, opened up on the side, taking a lot of fire, basically trading alone against the couple traders from Equilibrium.
The Direwolf is open on the side torso from Castellanian. He's about to lose a side torso here. Blood Asp has been halved down to 2 ER Large, having to abandon their position. These trades are not going well.
No, rest of Equilibrium team, the Wolfpack is moving over to the Sigma point here. Looks like they may have, there goes Old Hazu in that Blood Asp. Looks like they're gonna try to chase down Dered here, maybe, or at least try to threaten this flank and flush some more folks for their traders who are just throwing out power trades here. I'm just looking at the constant blue lasers going pretty much one direction.
Yeah,
the Asterion and that Direwolf got to be open here. Yep, that side torso ready to go, as you mentioned before.
Asterian's now getting the rest of their team back from the saddle. They're looking to support, but the percentages on the Direwolf 50%. It lost the side torso down to single ER Large, so that was a right stack to Direwolf. I know that some of the competitive players started to remove that right stack there in favor of a more balanced position for the Gauss rifles, just to protect against this particular situation occurring. That Direwolf is also open center torso. Their team's got to, I don't know, make some room here for the receive, and just kind of leave that Direwolf to die.
There's not much room to receive here is the thing, and Equilibrium taking advantage of that.
Jinto's coming in
just
on the back
corralling
here,
them into a corner.
looking to backstab, but that's a single fire starter. They're not going to get a whole lot done here.
No, and look, you can see this Equilibrium just absolutely corralling Casterian Guards into this corner here. They're all behind the same bit of cover here, no angles whatsoever. Meanwhile, we still got the traders on the island. Hang on, I'm going to take a quick jaunt out to the island here. We've got our single fire starter against the traders. Our Shadow Cat is doing just fine. Basalt pushing up in the night gear to get some more shots on the corral here.
Jinto's getting low percentage there. Already been halved. That was a light engine fire starter. Okay, just moving a little bit slower.
Yep. Let's see here. Chicken Man looking at, was that 51% there, 49%, still got all the weapons, a little open. gonna make it there. Finally getting halved. There goes
And last
Tremzalesis.
one up is that Wolfhound goes down center towards
Yep,
the kill.
and there it is.
Shine Plasma and the Commandos down at 34%. Everything's open up on them. But no deaths on Equilibrium. Even Chickman managing to survive there.
Yep. Very well done by Equilibrium there, just corralling the other team. We'll get the scoreboard up here momentarily as soon as it refreshes. There we go. All right, here's our scoreboard. Looking at our damages real quick. Chicken Man with that 712 without Orion.
That
Just
was
absolutely
ERPC
farming.
LBX 20?
Yep. And was just right in there slugging it with all the rest. Very well done. All right, real quick. Actually, if you want to chat about what happened here, I'm going to switch back to the map room on my side while I get these sides switched.
Yeah. So basically, it was two mechs trying to trade from Kesturian guards against however many traders Equilibrium had, which would be more than two. And those trades were not going very well for the Direwolf and the Bloodass. 300 damage on the Direwolf. Bloodass put out 200 damage before going down, which is actually, considering the numbers, quite impressive. But it was too many mechs that were drawn over the saddle to try and support a Theta push, and ended up being kind of caught there. Let's pull up the map strat here. So that kind of, they tried trading, it didn't work out, and they didn't have the numbers in their trade commitment. So Equilibrium made a push to the island, had their initial trades, and then wrapped in with their side flankers against the more stationary Kesturian guard trade positions in Gulf 5 and just in front of Kappa. Mechs coming from the saddle, kind of a little bit too little too late for Kesturian guards. The trades had already been lost in that regard, and the wolf pack was able to get close in for Equilibrium there. So kind of just, I can't even say that they got outskilled in the range trades because the numbers weren't there. Just something like the clan LPLs from the school, they're not really able to properly trade from the saddle or the platform to the island. That range is more than clan LPL's optimal range by a significant margin. Like the Stalker parked in Echo 3 with the 6 ER large build, probably with a giant targeting computer as well. That'll just outrange those clan LPLs. So, ERPPC's on the Timberwolf trying to turn some heads, put some damage out, but the DPS is kind of a little bit slow when everybody's doing a full exposed trade or even a push across the water. And that allowed Equilibrium to get their, they picked up kind of 2 kills early with the range trade and then just rolled in with the rest of their hit squad. And it was a tight quarters combat there in Kappa for Kesturian guards, but they also had a side flank trading into them from the saddle, which were being harassed a little bit by the Firestarter, but not enough to, the Firestarter on its own is not really enough of a force to drop mechs fast. You have to have a bigger wolf pack than that if you want to be bowling up a pair of assaults in time.
Yeah, I think the idea there was to essentially pull the traders off of the fight that was had, but quite frankly, it was too little, too late.
Yeah,
and
they're already down.
Their work
2
was
mechs.
done. Yep.
It's
and the wolf pack was cleaning up.
Yeah, and that was maybe a bait from Equilibrium sending just the commando to Theta. It drew so many mechs over the saddle, and then the main body made their move on the island. So just the capping commando, it wasn't full cap. They did fighting as well, but commando's got so much speed. You can get into Theta, get out of Theta, rejoin the team for the fight, and the Firestarter was just not in the fight for a significant period of time there for Kesturian's guards.
Yeah, and I don't think I wouldn't necessarily say it's bait. I think Kesturian guard strategy there was to essentially hold Theta, like get someone out there and have someone in the saddle to hold. I'm not sure it was.
They kind of dedicated too many
part
mechs to it.
Yeah, I would agree to that.
And it's that lack of scouting intel when you're trying to see what's at Theta. The supporting mechs for Team 1 can still be lurking behind Delta 6. So if you send too few, you get jumped. You send too many, you get pushed, and that's what happened here. They did send too many to Theta, and That's the problem with Theta for Team Two, and even yeah, very much for Team Two. I would say is that the Team One mechs, they could be in an ambush and not get scouted, whereas Team Two, if they send their mechs toward Theta, everybody can watch them going over the saddle. If you've got a mech at the island, they can just be looking and watching, and you can count
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 mechs going to Theta. Get on the comms, let your team know. Team Two doesn't really have that same ability to watch the mechs going to Theta because they're going, through the tunnel or behind the tunnel even, and
That's also true. Something else I want to point out here. Sorry to
No.
hop in.
Go ahead.
All right. Yes, is that you look at the traders from Team Two and the distance they had to walk before they could get fire. The Team One traders just hopped up on Epsilon. Probably took them about 10 seconds to get there, like all 3 of them, and they just started unleashing at mechs that were crossing the water or pushing over to Kappa. Meanwhile, we saw probably like 20 seconds later that Rancor was finally in position to trade. So EQ taking initial trade positions as well,
Yeah, I mean
just
the Direwolf is a
made
very
a huge
slow mech,
difference. Yep.
and you can't relocate it in time. Like if you see you're getting pushed, with a faster mech, you can get out of there. With the Direwolf, you kind of just got to hold and hope your team backs you up. Can't run away.
Yeah. And it's not even about the running away necessarily. It's the distance travel before you can start getting those traded. They never took up an intermediary trade position. EQ hopped on the Epsilon point basically and was trading before they decided to cross. Once they realized that Castarians were not going to contest them on the island. Meanwhile, I think probably by the time they started to move, give or take, to that island, that Rancor, Direwolf could have been getting shots off. The Rancor was staring at the hill trying to get up into that position, right? So that's the thing. All right, so both our teams are locked. We're going to take a quick look at Hibernal Rift here, though.
Okay. Yeah, next map up, Hibernal Rift. Who's Team 1 on this? I'm looking at...
Team 1 is Castarian. So
Okay.
Castarian down at the bottom. It's a largely symmetrical map. I'm just going to go over this particularly quickly here.
Yep.
Expect, I think, either a fight over Kappa or a fight over Epsi. We're going to see positions out here. Going to switch myself to red so it's more visible. Expect trade positions around the Alpha and Charlie drops here, maybe up to Delta 3, getting some shots across from Team 1.
The old
and
radio
trade
tower.
positions basically all around. Hopefully we'll see some concaves, but also this is another map where you could potentially push if you've got a fast enough deck. So I expect fights around Epsi, quite frankly, and maybe Kappa. Kappa has a lot more ridges. Epsi is a lot more open.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It all depends on which way the
classic is to take the Volcano as Team 2, and then maybe you got Bucket Hill Traders and Delta 5 for Team 1, and then fight over Epsilon. If teams are going Kappa, it's going to be more of a brawl deck, just because of the terrain there, I do believe. Favors the range a little bit less.
All right, I'm going to send us into the match here so the teams aren't waiting for terribly long while we chat. We took our time there on debrief.
I didn't catch tonnages. I'm assuming teams are using their full 480.
I didn't take a look, but generally they do, maybe 5 tons off. I would expect everything at this point, though. Let's see. That. All right, these ones start on the ground, so let's take a look at the EQ mechs. We've got ourselves a Hunchback here. With Peeps, so a Pop-Tart, and likewise our Shadow Cat, Night Gear and Highlander, all PPCs, Gauss and ER Large. So it looks like we've got 4 traders over here on this other side. We've got ourselves a Mistlinks, a Firestarter, Crusader, and an Exy with the large lasers rather than PPCs or large pulse. So we've got 3 to 4 man wolf pack, depending on how you want to count that Shadow Cat.
Did you catch those ATMs?
I did not.
Castarian Guards has ATMs on their Vapor Eagle, triple ATM 9.
Ooh, that's
and
a choice.
LRMs on the Scorch. So they did try to do something different here. They're pulling out an ATM Shadow Summoner as well. Huntsman, I'm going to guess as well. Oh, Executioner has 4 ATM 9s. This is a full ATM LRM drop deck here from Castarian Guards. Can they pull this off? They are trying to surprise Equilibrium here. I doubt Equilibrium really thought that... I did not know you could put 4 ATM-9s on an Executioner.
You know, I've never really tried it, so that is interesting. Let me just, now I'm paranoid about my overlays. Yeah, I'm not really
There's
sure,
no
but yeah,
NARC.
here comes the Lerms.
There's no
We'll
NARC
see
mech,
when they
though.
decide to. Yeah, if your wolf pack is getting you some spots, it may not be necessary. Here we've got our I guess our ATM pack with a Wolfhound escort coming in here.
Yeah. I mean,
What's on that summoner?
there really isn't a
Summoners
wolf
are taken
pack
as
here.
well.
You just got that MPL Wolfhound, light PPC, small lasers out of the Firestarter, and then the Huntsman, Hunchback 2CA, sorry, from Old Haas there is the only other range mech. So without a NARC,
Equilibrium is condensing. Just keeping up on the action here. The equilibrium is condensing sort of onto this ridge, into this corner. Casterian guards pushing at him from a particular flank. With I think it looks like our Vapor Eagle, or yes, our Vapor Eagle is open up here somewhere on one side. The Lerms continuing to rain, but no
tons of
particular
UAVs
significant
up.
damage.
Yeah, so there. Oh, the first one goes down.
Is
Firestarter
being
ended up
worried.
taking a little bit too much damage. Extra
Ooh.
light engine this time on it, and the Executioner's open center torso, and they can't twist because of the ATMs. If they want to maintain their lock, they have to keep staring. But
Yep.
Executioner's about to go down here.
Oh yeah, and
there
they're
it is.
gonna, the Wolfpack is gonna cross that around with Chicken Man on Overwatch. Chicken Man looking red in
Yeah,
that 54, but he's really only open
this
in
Marauder's
one
being
spot
dove.
here.
Marauder's having a bad time getting
Oh yeah,
rotated onto.
Nyan here with the Highlander just wreaking havoc as they collapse on the Casterian Guards
Yeah.
lines.
Last one up is the Hunchback 2CA from Old Haas, about to go down. They picked up a kill, they put some damage down, but in the end, it just did not work out, the ATM push there. Maybe they pushed a little bit too hard with them, but they also didn't hit quite at the same times for all the mechs on all the sides. What's the damage totals here? Well,
taking a look at that, I'll throw them on the stats.
you know, it's a bit of a mix here. Jinto with the Marauder 2C with the LRMs putting out 500 damage. But then on the other hand, you've got the Huntsman and Executioner with the ATMs not even cracking 200. Vapor Eagles just at 121. So the damage isn't quite there. You know, considering it's spread damage and everything, it just didn't hit hard enough for long enough. Maybe the fight just didn't last long enough.
Yeah, the ATMs are gonna take a hot minute to go through here. Now here is a question, and maybe I missed it. Do we play through all 5? It is best of 3.
I don't believe we'll play the other drops. I mean, there's no point to it.
Yeah.
You know, you've got the 3 played, and that's a match win for Equilibrium here.
For Equilibrium. Yep, absolutely. And oh, good, you were keeping up on the scoreboard. Thank you so much. All right, wonderful, wonderful. All right, so we're going to try to, let me see if the other teams are ready.
Yeah, we've got a couple minutes in between. Maybe I can set up my MWO
yes,
stat.
Go ahead. I wish we had some interstitials planned. We're still working on it. We will have for the full Invitationals.
Yeah, but Equilibrium's first team to advance into the World Championship Series. Casterian's guards, they fought hard, but they couldn't pull off the upset. It would have been quite a challenge. And they tried. They did try some different things. They played quite well today.
They did. And actually, let's take a look at we can take a look at that map to burn some time here. Let me head on over to the map room. All right, yeah, so we're looking at let's see here, team 2. I'll draw some arrows. These guys are, rather, team 1, sorry. So the Casterian Guard ATM pack kind of went around the corner to Bravo 3, while their light pack pushed up towards Theta, and they strayed on this sort of Delta line, maybe a little bit into Delta 4. I'm sorry, the 3 line, maybe a little bit into Delta 4, while Equilibrium took out, quite frankly, at the end, they had the whole concave on the right side of the map here on the FC side.
Yeah.
They did end up getting a little pushed. They saw the Lerms. They ended up taking cover. But I think, you know, as you mentioned, Casterian pushing around this corner to get some shots rather than maybe running a narc or some UAVs.
Yeah.
That's what really messed him up, because at that point the wolf pack closes, get it into that kind of pseudo minimum range, and then that's it.
Yeah,
They're
minimum
done.
range is 60 meters now on ATMs. It did get reduced as of like 6 months ago or something.
Yeah.
But there is still a minimum range that could come into play, and that's another thing I mentioned there. Like the executioner is getting cored out from Castrian guards, but you can't maintain your lock while torso twisting on an ATM or LRM boat. That's, you only have so many degrees you can look away from your opponent, and you can't protect that center torso in those situations. So
Yeah,
it just got cored out so fast there.
Heck yeah, and I think that one is ultimately pretty straightforward.
Considering the way they use those ATMs, like just closing the brawl range from Castrian guards, maybe SRMs might have worked out better, just given the style of fight. Like, they didn't really hang back at all with any of their mechs. Like, even their LRM Marauder 2C was like pushing up into the trench when it died. I don't know. I would love to see somebody pull off the LRM or ATM strat. Big props to Castrian guards for cracking it out here, but I'm not sure how that's supposed to be executed. It's been so long since I've seen it pulled off successfully. I'd love to see a team succeed with it, just any team.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get us set up for our next match, which is going to be, I think that's Aben's Clutch, right? Let me double check the tournament set. It is Aben's Clutch here. Should be going in about half an hour on that match team. So we're gonna continue talking and enjoy. For some reason, some of the features on Streamlabs OVS have disappeared on me, so I can't do stuff behind the room. So we are going to do stuff live.
Okay, I'm gonna try to build a scene here real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So at this point, let's see. Let's catch up on the chat as the right, and let's see. Let's see. Interstitial with a 7-minute delay. That'll put us at, fortunately, almost time to launch. So actually, here, let's take some time and chat about some of the positions on it. Head on over to the map room. And I think let's choose one of the ones that we did. Let's talk about Mining Collective, in case there's anybody new out there. Mining Collective is a mostly symmetrical-ish map. And what you're going to see here, there is quote-unquote a good side and a quote-unquote bad side here. And what you're going to see, so to define that out here, what the good side is, what that refers to, let's see here, we'll use dotted lines for sight lines. You can set up some traders over here on Delta 6. Let me clear that. And what you can do is there are little gaps here that you can actually see through. So you can actually get trader coverage over Theta rather quickly. Whereas Whereas from team 1, this right here is basically a solid wall. If we zoom in here, I don't know if that's going to zoom in on the stream, but if you look at there, there's basically this solid wall here that you cannot shoot through. So team 2 has a very slight inherent advantage here. And what they can do is they can just run a light up here onto Theta, and they can get coverage almost immediately, take coverage and hold. Look at some of your power positions here. We've got Delta 6. You can put some mechs up there. Some of this Echo 5 here. And then you can actually station someone on the platform here while your Wolfpack roams around here. So to clear that out, looking at team 1, you also can take Theta, but you're not going to be able to hold it quite as easily. What you're going to need to do is push up a little farther here into this Echo 4 area using the high things. It's all about the jump jets here. And a lot of the maneuverability that we're looking at. So you're going to place a mech over here, probably Delta 3 in sort of the cupcakes there. You're going to aim for Echo 4 high ground here, where there's a couple of features that you can use to look down into Theta. More likely than not, those being initial positions, you're going to see a shift into sort of a north-south fight here. Kappa Sigma, folks are going to rotate over. Someone's going to try to fight for Echo 4 here. And your Wolfpacks are going to be roaming the center and occasionally out to the outside. One of the things is this Delta 3 position can be a little vulnerable. So if your Wolfpack here from Team 2 ends up coming over here, there's a good chance that there's going to be a mech sitting there right at Delta 3. And the important thing here is if you've got some coverage here in Echo 4, Echo 3, you can get those sight lines. Sorry, this is still red. You can get some firing lines to support that person in Delta 3 as they evac towards the center of the map. So if you're stuck in Delta 3, if you are that Delta 3 trader and you're a new to this rather, that is something you're going to keep in mind. If you're on Delta 3, your job is to go to the center. I know a lot of quick play. We see some play up the ramps. That can happen here as well, especially if there's a push. They're either going to go along the outside here, which ultimately gives up a whole lot of the map, or they're going to go over the center, which just has a lot of open spots where you can just get shot for free. So spotting any push, absolutely vital on this small map. That probably covers most of the spots that we're looking at here. Obviously there's some stacks over here. I think I mentioned Echo 3. Basically you're putting someone over in these corners, someone kind of in the center, maybe, or you're working the sides. Derex, I don't know if you have any thoughts about above and beyond.
I mean, mining is a map that competitively I don't necessarily understand very well. Teams that I've been on generally have tried to play either left side or right side as opposed to playing a back ridge or whatever.
Yep.
But other than take jump jets and win your trades, I don't have a strong conceptual grasp of how to play the map.
Sometimes, and I'm glad you mentioned ridges too, because those can be in play. We've seen in previous seasons where there is a heavy mech there.
I was on a team once. We stuck a light Gauss Fafnir on one of these back ridges because it's so dark. It was stealth armor. It was a stealth armor light Gauss Fafnir, and that mech is invisible. The Gauss rifles don't give any much of a visual effect, and you can't see anything if anything backs up there. So if you've got ECM or stealth armor, I mean, at the time light Gauss was a trash weapon. It was total troll, but nobody can see. And if you stick a direwolf, you just back up from spawn. You take the Charlie spawn, you just back up. You have ECM, nobody can see you, and it's just a wild time to be doing that type of stuff on this.
Yeah,
map.
I wouldn't expect it, but let me see. And here's the other thing: like from that position, you're talking, your optimal range is somewhere around Theta, probably. Actually, short of Theta, really. Like we're probably looking at 900 for optimal on most things, unless you're, the direwolf will probably get out a little farther. So if you're trading against things on the other side, you are basically doing tickle damage. It's tickle damage over time, and that adds up, not to be underestimated. But I think this feels like a more initial position to like get some of those trades going, and as things close in, or try to bait them into it.
I mean,
you're going to play the ridges.
if you're expecting an opposing team to trade, that's kind of maybe something you would look at, because if they're just like pushing over ramps or around, your stealth mech can maybe get angles, but the angles aren't really great from that ridge line. If you back up enough, you can kind of shoot over buildings, but this map has issues. If you don't have a special user CFG modification, there's terrain that disappears, goes invisible if you're sitting back here and you're trying to trade against something set up on the opposing side past the ramps. Some of this terrain starts to disappear on your screen, even though it still exists, and your shots are hitting it, and you're like, what am I hitting? So I don't know what these players, they might have custom user CFGs or reshade program, something like that, where they've got their graphics tweaked to the extent where they can actually see on this map. But for myself, where I'm playing like a vanilla user CFG, basically, there are shadows on this map where you just can't see, and I don't know what these players are going to have in that regard. We need to make a map room link change here for the map ban.
Yes, for the map ban thing. Yep, that's already done on my stream.
I do believe I've copy pasted here. Just need to make the paste. Got the right.
And it's still a mystery to me who I'm inviting from Clutch. They have not responded. I think I have both people on my list though. You have Colonel and Gautspeed, so they're both on, so they both have an invite. We'll see where that goes. But we're coming up on the time where we're going to want to start to think about the map ban, getting everything sorted out here. I think we've covered mining relatively well. There are a couple. Oh, actually, one more thing. If you are a newer player, some things to watch out for are these corners here. So there's the generally down under these trade positions in D4 and Echo 4, this low ground around the outside of it, absolute death trap zones. Basically what the issue is there is angles. Those top mechs, especially if they've got arm mounts, can fire down on you and kind of hit you wherever. However, if you're on the bottom, you can only kind of hit their most armored spots or their torsos. You need to have someone either covering you from up top to even escape that, or just GTFO, quite frankly. Here, I'll sort of highlight these positions. You do not want to get stuck here. You see it all the time in quick play, and you'll see players taking these top positions up here. Again, let's see, is green going to stand out? No. How about the pink? Pink stands out pretty well. These positions up here, these power positions, and then also you are catching fire often depending on which zone you're in from across the map as well. And if they happen to have force on theta, it just absolutely makes you surrounded in these areas. These are generally death zones. They are moved through. Do not stop. If you get stuck there, you need to reposition and find something else. That's another thing to look out for. There's a couple other like little trap zones in here, but those are probably the big four that you need to look out for. And then fights around the outside again will go generally to the teams that have the high ground. All right, so a couple of reminders that are here. Ben, I see that. Hydrate. Cheers to you. So a couple of things that we are going to be looking at. I don't know what scene to sit at. Let's sit on the I guess the lobby screen here. So things that we that bear mentioning, we are on a 7-minute delay now, not a 5-minute delay. So that is something to keep in mind as something that we are doing. That is new this year. And also, if you're on MWO Leagues, go check out MWO Leagues 2 for Therex's point of view and vice versa. If you are on 2, feel free to check out my point of view on regular leagues. Otherwise, we are...
Yeah, we're
moving along.
Probably just getting to time here for that map ban. If the teams are getting in here, I guess while they're getting in, we could start talking about how these teams got to the Invitational. So
yes,
we've got Aubins and Clutch. So Aubins will be the 2 seed, Clutch will be the 7 seed. So Clutch has got an uphill fight here. Aubins had a 3rd place finish in ISC Season 5 Div A. Then they had a 2nd place finish in Division A of Blood League Season 2. And I'm not seeing them as having played Tournament of Stars. They would have already qualified for the Invitational just based off of their other two tournament finishes. Although I believe that a whole bunch of the Omens players are playing on Empyreon in Tournament of Stars, but that's, I believe, considered a separate, distinct team, so I'm not going to bring them up here again.
Yes.
Whereas Clutch had a first place finish in Division C of ISC 5, so that kind of, a lower start. Division B in tournament, not Tournament Stars, Blood League Season 2, the second tournament, they had a 6th place finish in Division B, which is a little bit of a disappointment for them, I imagine. And then coming into the last tournament, Tournament of Stars, the Clutch ended up finishing 5th in Division B, so they are definitely punching up here, and it's going to be an uphill fight. We'll see if they can pull something off. But it'll again take some special strategies, I do believe. I don't think they can just play it completely straight. But again, Clutch is not known for playing things straight in terms of their strategies. I managed to spectate a couple of their games, and they were doing some hard flanks from behind with ice ferrets or whatever. So we'll see what they do here. But definitely, Omens is favored coming into this match. Heavily favored, I would say.
Yeah, I would think so. I am looking forward to Clutch, because one thing you can say about them, they last year they got knocked out of the top 12 on the very last night. I think they decided to take a break that last night in the queue, and ended up just getting pushed out by other teams that were taking some elo.
Yeah.
That was a very exciting last night. I don't know if you were in on some of that. So there are so it was we were keeping tabs on each other. There was someone out there that was doing a stream of the lobbies of one of the teams that was going, and there were some really interesting upsets going on. And a lot of shifts that very last day. It was a nail biter. I was playing for DPS at that time, and we were right on the cusp there. We were pushing for it, and there was a lot of movement. So Clutch got pushed out, but they were in that top 12 until that last night. So they have a lot of potential as a team, and they. And like you said, they pull some of the most unexpected stuff. Like them and GNX, you never know what's coming from them. And it's always an interesting match with them, especially, and from a caster point of view, I love casting these teams.
Yeah,
you never know.
And even if Clutch doesn't manage to make it through into the top 12 through the Invitationals here, where 4 teams are qualifying directly through the Invitationals here today, and then the other 8 teams are going to be taken out of the comp queue that's starting up in a couple of weeks. Clutch could very well qualify through the comp queue if they don't get it here today through the Invitational. So they could definitely be a top 12 team going forward here with Championship Series 2023. Even if they don't direct qualify, they're definitely a top 12 contender to get into that top 12 through the comp queue. I do remember a little bit playing that last night of Comp Q last year. I was with Smoke Adders. I believe we finished like 16th or something. And there was a significant elo gap between us and the teams that were challenging for that 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th place finishes, right? There's kind of a cluster there. We were below that cluster. We were kind of trying a little bit, but didn't really have much of a shot, but we still had some entertaining games that last night. And I've played in a final day of Comp Q in the past where it's just really sweaty, try-hard stuff. That last couple of hours, you're banging it out against other teams that are trying to claw their way in. And, that's some of the most fun matches I've ever played of MechWarrior Online. You've got something at stake there. Everyone's fighting, just trying to get in. Good times.
Yep. Therex, keep talking for a bit. I have to do some screenshots of some rules and stuff.
Great. So still waiting for the teams to show up here. But for anyone who has not played in a World Championship Series before CompQ in the past, MechWarrior Online is running on the CompQ once again this year. What is it? fourth time that comp queue is going to be turned on, and it's a separate queue that you can participate in. Anyone who's watching, whatever. The requirements for playing in comp queue quite low. You have to have played your 25 games of MechWarrior Online in quick play to get your cadet out of the way. So if you want to play in comp queue and you don't have a MechWarrior Online account, download the game, start playing today. And yeah, if you own one mech and you've played 25 games of quick play, you can play comp queue. You need to find a team. There's resources in the MWO Comp Discord to try and help hook you up with a team or allow you to recruit a team. You can also do the same thing off the official forums or Reddit, your other Discord servers, whatever. It's going to be an 8v8 5-cap format, the same format the teams are playing here today, just using a different interface. And it's a fun time. You get the teams that are actually trying to go for the top 12 World Championship, and then you also have the teams that are just kind of playing for fun, the casual teams. So all levels of skill are welcome to play, and the more teams that are participating, the better the matchmaker will work. So if there's a bunch of casual teams playing at the same time, they should be playing up against other casual teams at least the majority of the time. Everyone start getting prepared, get ready. We've got the comp queue kicking off in like 3 weeks from now. I don't remember the exact dates. They were moving those around a little bit.
That is true. Let me see what the latest on that is. It'll be patch day. That's the easy thing. It's gonna be patch day. Let's see where
patch day is team formation, but the actual games start on
I think that
August
is where
24th.
It changed to. Yep.
August 24th is the first day of matches.
Yep. So that is coming up, and that'll go till. Oh, here's an interesting thing on that. That'll go until October 1st. Actually, here, let me get this here.
October 24th actually would be the queue close because
the queue close. But hang on, a couple steps here. Yeah, if you're going for rewards, if you're going for that top 12, your cutoff is October 1st or 2nd. There, let me find
October
the thing.
1st,
it is October 1st. At that point, the top 8 teams will be invited to the top 12 tournament. After that point, they won't be able to participate in the comp queue.
Yeah,
comp queue will then essentially continue to be open for anyone to vie for those top 25 spots. There's a special decal for top 25. So there is something to there, and your rewards 60 games and you get
yeah, I mean, just for playing 60 games you get a unique camouflage 30% C-bill bonus Timberwolf S, the championship series. It's brand new edition of the Timberwolf, but otherwise identical to your Timberwolf S. You get a whole bunch of MC. Just for 20 games, you get that Timberwolf, 6K MC, 3 million C-bills, 273 GSP, 5 mech bays, and 3 brand new colors that you can apply to any of your mechs. I mean, that is, like, literally just play 20 games. You can go 0-20, and you will get all that stuff. And if you keep playing, you go for the 60 games, you get another 1,000 MC for every 10 games that you play. That puts you up to a total of 10,000 MC just for playing 60 games of comp queue. A whole bunch of C-bills, GSP, mech bays, like all the stuff, The rewards are insane. And you don't have to have a skill set to play. Like, literally, complete your 25 games of Cadet on your account. If you're a brand new player downloading today, it takes 25 games of quick play. And then if you own a mech, you're now allowed to play comp queue. Like, it's that simple. You got to find a team. You do have to pre-form a group of 7, at least 7 players in order to play in the comp queue. But bar for entry is pretty low, and rewards are right up there.
Rewards are insane. And then on top of that, the tournament support pack will be getting announced eventually. You have a little information of that. I cannot give it to you. Check the comp discords. There have been a couple of little teasers. I know we've seen a piece of I think it looks like maybe a mounted item, maybe from Frostbite. There's a little bit of info there you're gonna have to fish for it. I'm sorry. But yeah, there are gonna be multiple levels that has been announced, and it's fantastic. Some stuff that has never been done before. It's going to be a real cool thing. So be sure to support that pack. That does go to the prize pool.
We should get that map ban rule here?
We got a few minutes. We got
Okay.
a few minutes to continue to chat, and we're gonna do it in about 5 minutes. We'll do about 5 minutes for the map ban and launch right after that. That's
Okay.
where I've got that sorted. So just a reminder, if anyone is coming in for the second match, we are on a 7-minute delay. If you want Therex's point of view, who is our co-cast, he's on MW Leagues 2. So go check that out. You can watch them side by side. Definitely check it out. Let's see here. What else have we got to talk about? I don't know. We got 5 minutes.
5 minutes, eh?
What do you think?
Well, I mean, we've
What
kind
else
of
can we?
run
What else can
through
we
it
pull?
all.
You know what? Let's go over the format again real
Sure.
quick. That'll probably take us
Yep.
about 5 minutes. I'll let you take care of that.
Sure. So we're doing it's an 8v8 5-cap conquest. It's invitational for the Championship Series 2023. So these teams that are playing today, if they win their match, they're in. They're in the top 8. They're actually in the top 12 final bracket. They actually get directly into the top 4. There's going to be a seeding tournament for the teams that qualify today to determine who's seed 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. They get a bypass playing in Comp Q entirely, which if you're a casual player, probably excited about having a little bit less of the elite teams available to face. But if you're an elite team, maybe you want to be bypassing the Comp Q so you can just focus on practice entirely. So it is 5-cap conquest, 480 ton limit for both teams. And there's also chassis limit where they cannot have duplicate chassis, so they can only bring 1 ice ferret, for instance, or 1 fire starter. And then also they cannot exceed 3 of a weight class. So if they can only bring 3 lights. They cannot bring 4 lights, but they can bring up to 3 lights or up to 3 mediums. And out of that, they're picking out their 8 mechs. So, and plus the 480 ton limit. So they got to build a drop deck that is compatible to those conditions. Beyond that, only mechs that are currently released for C-Bills or MC are able to be played, or identical variants. So if you have a Timberwolf S, for instance, like the I don't know, like the bracket position there, the special Timberwolf or the Origins Timberwolf or the Championship Timberwolf, whatever. You can bring that if it's identical to a variant that's available for C-Bills. But so you can't play the legendary mechs or the Stone Rhino. Those are the only mechs that are not currently allowed in the Championship Series 2023. Stone Rhino is only coming up for C-Bills, I believe, in March? February? March? I think it's March.
Yeah, March, I think, is the current. They're looking at maybe pushing some things up.
Yeah, there might be a change on that. I mean, stay tuned to the... But if for the Comp Q itself, the Stone Rhino is not going to be available, and the Legendary mechs are not going to be available to play. But other than that, it's kind of wide open. You can play Land Tech, you can play Inner Sphere mechs. That's kind of fairly free and open format. Now, the players are going to be banning maps here in a little bit, or choosing maps. This is a best of 5. So we will play at least 3 maps, potentially all 5. And team captains get to select the maps that they want to be playing here. Just waiting for things to kind of, everybody get in the lobbies and all of that. So yeah, there are 5 maps that are available in CompQ and for play here today. Crimson Strait, Hibernal Rift, the Mining Collective, Polar Highlands, and Vitric Station. So the teams are going to be choosing which maps they want to be playing, and then choosing team sides as well. And these are the same maps that are going to be available in CompQ for anyone who's looking to start planning out their map strats.
And this is a great resource. I'm glad you said that. That is a great thought. It is this is a great resource for newer teams. Watch what these teams do. Watch what the teams that win, watch what happens, learn from it. This is going to be a great thing to show your team if you are not if you're still working on that.
If you're looking for a really easy way to do your team strats and drop decks, you can just copy these guys' homework.
Literally, have done that with scrims. It's one of the big scrim things. Okay. All right, let's go. All right, let's start off the map ban. Here we go.
All right. So, Hobbins as the high seed gets to pick the first map.
Yep. Indeed they do.
And they've gone for Polar Highlands as the first map.
All right.
And now we are waiting for Clutch's pick.
I'm just going to be best off watching it.
Are they still awake?
Taking their times to. There we go.
There we go. Okay,
if they
so
don't,
second
if
map
they don't
is
make it a
Mining
choice
Collective.
in time, it will. It'll move them around. It'll select for them if they.
Oh,
yeah.
Are these auto picks or is this actually?
Well, it depends on how long. I don't think we hit the full minute. They should have a minute to choose, so they probably just had to think about that. What
right.
What are their strongest maps? And this is an elimination round. It is the best of 5. And we will leave it at 3 if it is a straight sweep. So it behooves these teams to choose their strongest maps first. That being said, the amount of filler that we have to do would be highly reduced if Clutch would at least take a match off these guys. We shall see. Again, this is the knockout round. These top seeds are going against some lower seeds, so you know there are heavy favorites, but it does not preclude any outcome.
I've got my lunch sitting here on my desk, so if a team wants to sweep the other team, I don't object either.
Oh well, then you got to talk instead of eating lunch. That's how. Well, actually, I guess I can talk.
Yeah, that's what we'd be doing. Just waiting for the third map pick to come in here.
Yeah. Let me check the chat, see if there's any. See what's going on here. Looks like we got someone typing in all chat where they should be typing in team chat. Oops, oops, oops. All right, let me see here.
I'm not entirely sure who this player is, so I don't know. There's been some renames in MechWarrior Online competitive scene. It's sometimes hard to keep track of which player is which.
Yes. You kind of that right click find profile on Discord. Oh, here we go. Vitric.
We've got Vitric Station as the third map. And we're waiting for Clutch to pick the fourth here. So Hibernal Rift is the fourth, and then Crimson Strait will be the fifth. If it comes to that.
Let's see. Let's do this based on 8. Now we pick sides, starting with Hibernal. No, not Hibernal, Polar. Sorry, things are small.
I don't actually see that on my
there we go.
Overlay here.
Avens is going to be Team 1. It's the little mechs in the corners. So now we're looking at, and so it's left. So since the left one is blue, that means Avens is Team 1. Okay. And we're waiting on. This is interesting. I would think that they would have preferred sides at this point. Having choice, I think I would want Team 2, as we discussed earlier. It's got those open ports. It is generally the better side, so I would expect Clutch to take Team 2, which they did, or Team 1. No, Clutch took Team 1 that one. Interesting. All right. On to Vitric Station choices. Again, this one more of a very much symmetrical map. There's a little bit of difference on the left or right side and access points. Those very subtle differences there. We'll see. Let's see what's happening in here. Yeah, it looks like Avens having some conversation. Oh, what do we got here? All right, Avens Team 1. And then we've got Avens Team 1 again. And our last one is going to see Aben Team 1. All right. That makes my job a little bit easier. All right. All right. We're going to go ahead and actually hang on. Aben starts Team 1. So I'm going to swap sides.
Yeah, so kicking things off with Polar Highlands, that is something. This is not the Polar Highlands that you might remember from several years ago if you haven't been playing recently. Let's go ahead and pull that up on the map strat here. So find it.
All right, here we go. I'm going to go ahead. We're going to send us back to the lobby screen. And I'm going to go ahead and give Team 1 their 5-minute timers. Right on time. Look at that. That is, they like timed that out. That's beautiful. Took us exactly 5 minutes to do that.
Nice. I've pulled up the map strats here for.
Yeah, let's talk about that while they get going here. There we go.
So the Polar Highlands spawns are set quite far back for both teams. There's a lot of walking to do just to get going here, and what I'm thinking here, trying to decide which is which side of the map, because one of these is Kappa, one of them is Gamma, and everything's white from an overhead view. But on the one side you've got a pretty good castle, on the other side not so much. Now, castle side is, if I can tell, zooming in here. That's Gamma, is it not, with the castle?
Yes, Gamma should have the castle.
So
yes.
the Gamma's the one with the
Gamma's
castle.
castle side.
That's if you're taking range trade, getting something up high over at this this upper tower here can give you a lot of control on the map. But if you're sending like a stalker up there, it is like literally a minute and a half of walking from your spawn to get to that cap, or to around that cap point. So the other way to play this map would be more playing around Theta, if a team were to just decide to do that. And there's some elevated positions around Theta. You don't actually want to go down onto Theta with your mechs, generally speaking. But there are a number of decent trade positions just set up kind of in a bit of a circle around Theta. You know, there's other further range trade positions as well if teams are trying to play that extreme range trade game. But I'm a fan of the Gamma position. It just takes too long to get there.
Yeah, I mean, it is a very strong position though. And I honestly expect Abens to take 1 or 2 mechs up there. It is very, very strong. And quite frankly, if you think it just takes too long, it'll take the other team just as long to get there. Maybe a little more, it's a little, there's a little bit of a distance difference as it were. But it is walking simulator for the first minute. That being said, it allows you to distribute your mechs before you see the other ones, right? So you think like having closer positions would be a whole, like a whole thing, where it would result in less walking. Yes, but having more time to distribute your mechs, especially your slow movers can get out on those flanks better than they can if those spawn points were moved up.
That said, I think Gamma's too slow for something like an Annihilator or Direwolf. Like I'm thinking more Stalker or Blood Asp if you are sending something to Gamma. There's a difference between 53 kph and 64 kph. Like there really is when you're traveling this length of a distance to get somewhere. So if they do take Annihilator or Direwolf, I don't know if the Annihilator's going to see play this championship series. It did in previous ones, but those mechs might be sitting more back in a Hotel 10, India 10, or something like that, as opposed to trying to make it out to the Fox 9 Gamma position. Blood Asp is a strong mech right now, and it does have some speed, or an Executioner with ERPCs. That's maybe more the type of mech that you see going for Gamma here, if teams elect to use it, which I anticipate.
Yeah, I mean, you can even throw a Crusader with PPCs up there.
Sure.
All sorts of stuff to get there real quick, as well.
Yeah.
I would be interested to see if we see any like large laser lights at this point, because the Wolfpack again can be very strong, but you've got enough of a map that a large or heavy later Arctic Cheetah or something like that could really do a lot of damage if left unchecked.
Aubens is known for playing some off-meta type stuff, so they might bring like a Incubus with large lasers, or I know that I'm not sure who's on their roster currently, because I know that they I'm not
we
seeing
got Tio Spouser, Lizzie. I think Tio's last year was running not the cap spider, but the one with
Yeah.
the insane cooldown and running like just a snub or
Well,
something like that. And it
in the
was
past,
devastating. It was
like
painful.
Stimrog was a big fan of like the ER large Kit Fox, and I know that they
Oh
have played
yeah.
with Aubins in the past, but I don't see them in the lobby unless if they're a rename. Um, but like a ER large Kit Fox would be something that they would have potentially played on this type of a map in the past.
Mhm.
Um, but Aubins has kind of like pet mechs to an extent more than other teams for their players, where they have these off meta mechs that they're very effective with their specific players. So depending who shows up for the match, you see different mechs potentially out of their team, whereas other teams more of a structured approach to drop composition, where they're definitely playing more the meta,
Mm.
and their players are just expected to learn the meta mechs. So it'll be a little bit interesting to see what they're doing here.
All right. We're gonna hop to lobby here real quick. Hopefully they did not actually stop. That would be bad. They actually left, so I'll give them a minute here. Since I did say just a couple of minutes
Okay.
for the chat. Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see what goes on here again. Like you said,
Now,
Avens, a lot of these top teams have been doing some non-meta stuff and making it work, which
yeah,
is a real tell to the talent.
one thing
Um,
I need to point out here before we launch, the tonnage. You can see the team tonnage here in the lobby. Aubins is at 475, Clutch is at 465. The limit is 480. Now, being 5 tons low, that's nothing. 15 tons low off of a 480, that is something a little bit kind of noteworthy.
Yeah, expect something fast. This may be a brawl. But I'm gonna switch this over to the mapcast overlay. Here we go. All right. Actually, let me make sure that the teams are correct. We've got Abens on team 1, right? Be correct. Now we'll figure it out here in a moment.
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And I just want to make sure on the scoreboard. Yes, okay, we are correct on that as well.
Just here.
For some reason, that's right. Really, honestly, I do like this map. I like the upgrades. I kind of miss the old one though. I know it's blasphemy, but
You know,
it had its charm. It was painful at times, but
yeah, I was
wish
not
they
a
kept it in
fan
rotation because it's
of the old Polar Highlands with, but before it was taken out, I had one of my favorite matches of all time on that on Polar Highlands. So, like literally a week or two before it was removed. So sometimes I do think back fondly to that.
yeah.
I'm looking over here at Clutch. They are bringing 8
you're
small
on.
pulse Firestarter, Piranha with heavy meads and light machine gun, Incubus with heavy large, 2 heavy large. So they do have some brawl, some non. Rival Vapor Eagle, 2 ERPPC and 3 light machine gun. Goss quad ER large Mad Cat, Blood Ass with 6 ER large, and an Executioner with 3 ERPPC and some micro laser backup. Last mech here I'm going to grab up the build is that Hunchback 2CA with 4 ER large and 4 ER micro. So they do have a dedicated 4-pack. Well, I mean, if the rival goes with it, maybe it's a 3-pack, and then they've got range out of the rest of their team.
All right, so we've got Gauss and Heavy Large on Hellfire, which is going to be an interesting one. Not one you typically see. Been seeing a little more lately. We've got a Narc and Heavy Mediums on a Jenner. Hang on, I'm going to go on a Lerm check here. A Timberwolf, that is just a standard Laser Vom Timberwolf. Bloodass with Laser Vom, Large Pulse on the Warhawk. I don't know where that narc is gonna come into use, but that's a choice. All right, so we've and meanwhile we've got a Black Lantern, an Incubus, a Phoenix Hawk on the Wolf Pack here.
Yeah, so early cap by Clutch on Theta, now being taken back by the Black Lantern, backed up by some of the rest of the Wolfpack. So there is a Narc on Aubins, but it's just a spotting Narc. It's not a missile Narc. So what Narc does is it basically gives you wall hacks against a mech for like, what is it, 60 seconds? Or they reduce the time. Maybe it's only 40.
It depends on the mech. Some of them have a time booster on it.
Oh, it
Like
might
the
have a
Arctic
quirk,
Cheetah
right.
does, but it's not insignificant. Yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
minute and a half, somewhere around there.
So in a trade situation like this, it just means that one mech, every time they go to peak, everyone's going to know exactly where it is while that Narc is on it. That's all that
Yep.
it's doing here. It's not for the missiles.
It may also make them take cover too. An early
Yeah.
narc is usually an indication that lerms are coming your way, and you're going to get to cover as fast as you can. You're going
Yeah.
to displace yourself. So it may be a little ploy, or who knows? Maybe it was an accidental take.
No,
But it's an interesting use of tonnage.
A few years ago, there was Narc on the Summoner as a strategy where the Summoner popped hard up and throw both PPCs and a Narc at the opponent just for tracking purposes.
Oh no,
that was
totally.
a couple years
I get
ago
that. But
at higher level comp.
in any case, here we go. The Hellfire and the Black Lantern pushing up. Gonna try to use the Hellfire. Gonna try to trade with the Blood Asp here and actually getting away relatively scot-free. Got a really good burn on Colonel Renard here.
Yeah. Looks like there's a little
That
bit
was
of
an
damage.
interesting exchange.
Yeah, Blood Asp is open in the rear. Probably strike damage. 81% damage is pretty spread on their mech.
Yep. But the fact it looked like a good burn
This
got
is a
put
push
on that
coming
shoulder
in.
there.
This Warhack is just...
Yes, it is.
That's an LPL team
pulse
versus an
lasers.
ER large team, so they definitely are playing more aggressive, the Aubens.
Yep.
Just kept their back line just continually advancing. Now Clutch is trying to make the rotation out. Photon probably should be going wider with their masking Vapor Eagle here.
Yeah, Aben's taken the left flank of Clutch here. They're really looking to capitalize it as Clutch shifts around. So we've got a little bit of rotation going on here.
Yeah.
A little bit of NASCAR. It looks like Aben's clustered on that hill, which is where you want to be. Clutch pulling away, buying themselves some time. Exactly what they need to do in this situation.
Hawk was a little bit at the back of the NASCAR, took a lot of damage there. Yep. Center torso is red, but
Bowser
still armored.
should be open. Bowser lost an arm, that's what it is, and is open. So Bowser almost halved here.
Rick Rum's taking significant damage as well. Looks like maybe a little bit heat damage.
Yep. Valkyrie here getting in a fight. Texan Scrubboard going down for Abbins. I was about to say they're looking a little down on armor here.
Center torso kill on
that is what's happening. Yep, very good on Clutch. Zeo's also looking like probably open here somewhere with the Lantern. Yep, almost halved there. Clutch putting in great trades here. Extra better open here. Yeah. Where's the Executioner open?
Center torso open orange.
Ooh,
so they've been buffering for their team playing up front, and they need to rotate out, get that somebody else to come in and share some armor.
Yeah,
you know,
looks like he's tucked in while the Wolfpack or a couple of the Incubus Caprana coming to maybe take out Tios.
They had a fight here, but it is not Clutch's advantage here. But both teams are kind of backing off, waiting for reinforcements. Tios is going in. Tios is diving. Redneck Geek. Incoming Firestar on the flank. Tios is about to get ganked.
Tios is going to go down here.
Can they return a kill here potentially?
Zeo's coming in here, though. He's getting back up.
Black Lantern masking
getting away.
Now this isn't
and halved.
Clutch is outnumbered in this fight now, but Tios is almost dead. Their mech is completely trashed right now. Side torso missing there. How's Redneck Geek doing? Damage-wise, they look relatively healthy. Nothing important is open. Just armor's bled off.
Clutch has a very large armor advantage right here.
Caps are ticking.
I mean, that can turn quickly if Aben's looking very open
Redneck Geek is now isolated from their team. They're going to get caught here. I don't see them getting out of here. Scout Derek with the Phoenix Hawk bringing in. And, well, Zeus and the Black Lantern is taking a lot of damage, but nothing's missing yet.
There goes Redneck Geek. That's going to even it up on
caps are 500
count,
for Aubens. Clutch needs to make a move for the caps.
That is going to become an issue, actually. Yep.
And with missing a mech from their wolf pack, their main body needs to get aggressive here.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think they know quite the advantage that they have in armor here. Looks like Legal looking to take Theta there. That's going to be a big one, but he's got Overwatch there from...
They need a 4-cap at this point, Clutch.
Yes,
Recap
they do.
Will not do it at this point. So Valkyrie,
there goes Epsy.
55% in that Firestarter. But if they get that Black Lantern early pick here, they could maybe win the fight against the Phoenix Hawk. Valkyrie needs to look at the Black Lantern.
All right, yep. That's going to be over on MWO Leagues 2. Looks like he's got that coverage of the fight. I'm covering the Theta fight over here, which is cooled off. So it looks like Abens is going to hold on to Theta.
Valkyrie's lost the side torso, goes down. So Black Lantern's
and
still
there goes
up,
extra better on that XE.
Zeo's not able to participate and fight anymore with the amount of damage they've taken, but they can go run around the map and take all the caps.
Yeah, there's Aben's taking Epsi back.
600 points on that cap. Everybody needs to be pressing on the side of Clutch, but they are down players.
Oh yeah. Looks like Legal just got some sort of damage here. It sounded like a big one. Probably halved would be my guess. Let's see if I can click. Yep, that is halved.
This Vapor Eagle needs to go capping. That's what the situation currently is.
There we go.
Clutch.
414712 goes down. That's a fantastic name to pronounce. Yeah, so it looks like
we have a fight over
Aben's
on Theta.
catching ahead, but
Gosspeep's trying to take the cap.
difference. Yeah, Gosspeep's getting shot up by 3 mechs. That's not good trade.
Yeah, it's good. They need. It's a desperation play, but they're not favored in this fight.
Yeah, no, it's over. I don't think they can get it back unless they get like a 5 cap at this point. We're so close. So it looks like I would almost say Clutch is probably going to take it on wins, but they're going to lose hard on those caps. They let those caps go for a little too long.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Aben's pulling some major focus fire here. Despite
Clutch
that armor
to try and get the
disadvantage.
caps, so they're now getting picked off in like 2v1s and 3v1s.
Yeah.
So
there we go. Now it's coming up.
Gas Guzzler open center torso
Gas
goes
Guzzler's
down.
going to go down. Yep.
This Phoenix Hawk is cleaning up from Scout Derek. Nothing's really critical on their mech. Open leg now, but and that's the cap win.
There it is. That's the cap win.
So when it got to that cap situation there, the main body from Clutch needed to play a little bit more aggressive. Initially, the damage looked good on their side, but they didn't. They needed to switch to putting more aggressive pressure on there at one point.
Yeah,
it was close though. So we've got, you know, this is a 7 seed versus a 2 seed. So
yeah,
you know, this is a close drop here.
All right. Oh, hey, why didn't that refresh? 1 second, folks. Let me get that scoreboard refreshed. What on earth is happening? Where's my... I'm sorry, folks. Looks like our scoreboard is not populating. We've got the score there, but not the...
It's working for me, just without the... There's no team logos for some reason.
Interesting. It's not giving me the damage numbers. Let me resubmit this match ID and see what happens here. Sorry about that, folks.
Okay.
All right.
I've got it pulled up on my screen here.
Yes, thank you. Go check out MWO Leagues 2 for Therex's point of view. All right, so we are going to Mining Collective. We are switching sides.
So damage totals higher than some of the previous match. A lot of the drops between Equilibrium and Casterian's guards had low damage. This is not the case here. We've got multiple players with 500 damage, multiple players with 400, 300 damage from both teams. Overall, it looks like maybe Clutch did more damage total. Tex and Scrublord and that Jenner 2C going down a little bit early. And Mech Warrior with numbers behind their name. I don't know who that actually is. I could guess, but I'm not going to. In the Warhawk, also coming up a little bit lower on the damage in terms of what you'd expect from that tonnage. But Scout Derek with 4 kills and 500 damage kind of pulling it out for their team. And really it was a cap win in the end, so you know, time spent capping is definitely something to look at as well for these players.
Indeed. All right. Yeah. So going over that one, as we have been, I know, we kind of talked about the caps. Actually, a lot of our fight was kind of around Theta here. So we had, let's see, what am I looking at here? We had some shots happening up here. Come on, let that go. And we had some movement around this side as well for a while. But honestly, there's only so much, sorry, checking on the banter here. There was a lot of movement happening around on these teams.
Yeah. It was an aggressive push right from spawn, from Aubens. They pushed through Theta with their assaults, kind of had their lights taking some of the attention early away from them so that they could actually get their LPL assaults in there relatively unscathed.
Yep.
And Clutch, they had they had to rotate out of a position. They had a trade position, but then they dropped into the low ground to try and run away from the push. And they did a pretty good job receiving, but ultimately they got some of their lights picked off around Theta, and the caps just got away from them.
Yeah, and it's they did need to pay attention to those caps, but oh man, they had actually a really good lead for a while there. They just never, as we were saying, they never really capitalized it. What they could have done is take a push. I'm going to use the...
Hey, is your stream still up?
My stream should still be up.
I'm hearing that maybe it's down.
Oh, hang on. Oh, it is. What the heck? That's interesting. It is showing up on my end. I have no... Oh, you know, there it is. There is a disconnect within... It is attempting reconnect.
Okay.
Right, hang on.
Well, yeah. Anyway, we can just keep going here. I'm going to keep talking a little bit on this map strat.
Yep.
But it came down to caps, and it was kind of... there was a good fight around Theta for Clutch. They kind of had a numbers advantage around Theta until the reinforcements masked in from Aubin. So somebody called it out, and Black Lantern and the Hellfire Void came charging in and turned the numbers at Theta there. And then on the exit, the Incubus for Clutch kind of got split off from its teammates and ended up going down in a outnumbered fight. Whereas if they had stuck with their team, maybe they could have actually saved their mech or dropped a couple of their opponents there, which would have made a big difference when trying to spread out for the caps. And maybe that was a bit of a difference there on the wolf pack. What we're seeing from Aubins there, they definitely had a clear 4-pack with the Jenner went down early, but you've got a Phoenix Hawk, the Hellfire, Black Lantern, Incubus. That is 4 speedy mechs plus the dead Jenner. So they essentially had a 5-pack there. And then on the opposing side for Clutch, they only had the Piranha, the Incubus, and the Firestar. They were electing to buffer a little bit more into trades with the Hunchback 2CA and the Vigal hero Rival, which wasn't with the light pack. They have mask on that Vapor Eagle. It does have a little bit of speed, but they weren't really participating in it on that light fight. And it came down to the lights being dead for Clutch or losing the fight for Clutch, and that's what determined the win. So you either have to see the Vapor Eagle adjusting to try and play with the lights in that situation, or you have to see the main body from Clutch making more aggressive plays because the caps are just getting out of control. And that's something that everybody on the team has to be watching the cap ticket and trying to like update the team lead there, get the coordination called for if that push is being called. And I'm not convinced that the push would have been successful. There is a weapons difference between LPLs and Gauss ER large in terms of how a push is going to end up going. But there was a bit of I believe there was a damage lead there for Clutch. They could have maybe made that move a little bit sooner. But that might be something to look at adjusting here for Clutch in their drop deck, making sure that they have a little bit more in that wolf pack. A lot of these drops do come down to who has the winning wolf pack, who can apply pressure with their 3-pack or 4-pack, or in this case Aubins essentially was running a 5-pack, so might be an adjustment to make there for Clutch.
Yep. Gonna move us on to mining while we wait for my stream delay to clear here.
Yep.
So yeah, let's take a look at what the heck.
What's
weird. Okay. There it is. The markings ported over, interestingly enough. But in any case, here we are on mining. Clutch with team 1 side, that is the side with the obstructed view. Aiden's ending up with
that
the
side,
better side.
So either maybe it was a misclick or they have something planned out.
It's a small advantage, right?
Yeah.
They can ultimately, I think it's got slightly easier access to the Echo 4 high ground, so that might be what they're going for. Or they might be going for an interesting push where it really doesn't matter where that is. So we let them sort of sort that out. But yeah, and we talked about this in the interim here. Again, we've got these sort of spots that you don't want to go.
Yeah.
Sort of these
base
dead
of the ramp,
zones.
essentially.
Yeah, bases of the ramps are just like dead zones. The power here, I'll put green for the power positions.
Sure. If you are looking to make a push
4.
as a team on this map, you want to be using the ramps over here that in Charlie 4, Charlie 5, there's more angles, more room there, as opposed to pushing over these side ramps around the Theta tabletop.
All right, hang on. Let me see how long I've got. 200 seconds. What is that out to be? That's like 3 minutes.
So for trade positions on this map for Team 1 side, you've definitely got, cakes available to you if you elect to go for that. Um, there's some other high ground positions in various locations that teams can elect to trade from, if they do elect to play the range trade. And I don't know if either of these teams are dedicated to playing that range trade game. Um, you know, Auburn's plays a more aggressive style, generally speaking, in my mind, from what I've seen from them.
Mm-hmm.
They do take some range trade element, but on Polar Highlands we saw them running a 5-pack. On something like Mining Collective, I wouldn't expect them to run more than a couple of traders, just the way that their team plays out their style. They're more aggressive, and I'm not sure we're gonna see like a stalemate trade game here, as opposed to not necessarily an all-out brawl push, but a pressure play, like a slow push, or clan LPLs type stuff. I mean, Pop-Tarts are very strong on this map, though. Definitely could see some mechs that are good at Pop-Tarting. Jump jets in general on Mining Collective are very, very strong. And I don't know if either team, like, quick play on this map, teams just kind of go up the ramps and just sit on Theta. That's kind of the extent of their strategy. You don't see that in competitive play. Teams do take Theta, but they'll send like a light or two, maybe 3 lights up there, and not the main body. The main body's going to be doing something else, either pushing around on a side or getting up high and taking a range trade position.
All right. Yeah, we're getting some pushback saying 5-minute delay. It is no longer a 5-minute delay. That is something to note.
Yeah.
Now a 7-minute delay.
Yep. Trying to just protect team strategies
Any second.
better.
Unfortunately, if we end up with a stream hiccup, this is what happens. I've got just over a minute left on this, and we should be good to go. I wish there was some sort of a, hey, this is something that happened to your stream notification, but I've got nothing. It was streaming on my end, and then it's just like, just kidding. You're no longer on Twitch.
Well, that's part of the reason why we're doing 2 different Twitch channels right now. So anyone watching, you can watch on MechWarrior Online's main channel or MechWarrior Online's 2. And hopefully at least one of the streams is going to be up at all times. Yeah. And you can also get different camera angles. Maybe Ivor might be covering the main body, I'm covering the light fight, or something of that nature. So if one of us misses something on stream, hopefully the other person catches it.
Yes. All right. We are 20 seconds away.
Well, what else is there to discuss
So
here?
close. I know. Other than who knows what kind of weird streaming issue is going on.
Yeah. I keep checking here and making sure that mine's up, but so far so good.
Thank you for catching that when you did. I was not too far away. All right, so just checking up. We should be going live on MWO Leagues. I've got an ad. Looking at my preview, I have a preview. All right, we are good to go. All right. Launching the second map here.
Yeah, Clutch is at 470 tons.
Oh, I never hit enter.
480.
Yes. Okay. Cool. Thank you, Therex, for filling in with all the filler while I scramble for figuring things out. All right, we are back.
All right, can Clutch turn it around? We're doing best of 5 here, so yeah.
I went into somebody's cockpit. Cool. Love it.
All right, here we are.
Well, we'll just watch this while it happens here. Watch people load in. There we go. Now I can hop out of a mech, maybe.
Okay, I'm looking at Auburn's side here as they're pulling in.
Oh God.
I can pull up these builds here.
Oh, I'm canted. This is awful. Hang on. Am I still canted? No.
Direwolf W with 2 Gauss, 4-year large. Mistlinks going for the cap right off the spawn. Standard machine gun with heavy meads ER small. So not the heavy machine gun. Executioner with ERPPC and small pulse ER micro. So 2 ERPPC on that Executioner, maybe a bit more of an aggressive build there. Summoner is Laser Vomit, Heavy Large ER Mead. Crusader is Snubnose PPC Small Laser. We have a Phoenix Hawk going for Theta here. Scout Derek is pulling it up with 3 Light PPC and a bunch of Small Laser. Actually, a fight right at the start here.
Yeah, and we've got I don't know what Clutch is doing. They've got, looks like they're maybe doing 2 mechs on Overwatch and a push, because that Crusader is Snubs. The Arctic Wolf obviously is SRMs.
Your PPC Shadow Cat here from Aubens.
Yep, that makes sense. They've got some wicked shooters over there. We've got Colonel David playing over here by Kappa in an ER large stalker. I don't know if he's going to be able to see too terribly much. I think he's expecting more of a fight over there, moving more towards the center. Gauss Peep in the Timber over here. This is another kind of standard meta laser bomb going on here with the large pulse and the ER Meads. So I'm not sure. I would expect them to try to take this this Kappa Sigma side.
Oh.
As Abens is splitting the map to the south, it looks like.
One mech here that does not... Javelin with 3 light PPCs, Javelin 10F. I'm not familiar with that build whatsoever. Are there quirks on that mech?
You know, I'm not sure. That's not one that I usually play. There could be. But it could just be a general...
Seems... That's something that I would call off meta.
Powerful... Maybe, but it's a powerful enough build on a light.
Direwolf is getting dove here. Mech Warrior with numbers is about to get jumped. They have no support from their team. This is a dead mech. Can they?
Yeah.
They're dropping to the low ground, gonna make a rotation. Maybe their team will be able to put some damage on while that Direwolf's getting picked off. But at the same time, looks like Aubens is pressuring the back end of Clutch.
Yep, that's exactly it. Aubens is actually going to end up corralling Clutch here in the corner.
Javelin's only getting down now, and Mistlink's taking a lot of damage. That Direwolf might not go down.
Yep, there goes Valkyr. We're able to take them down.
And Javelin's trying to run away now from Scout Derek with the Snubnose and small lasers. So Redneck Geek, can they get out? And that fell apart for Clutch.
Yes, it did.
Not anticipating
and the Direwolf got away. That needed to actually. Where is Zeos? How bad are we? Open leg damage all over the place. They needed to focus fire a little bit more. Dropping off that ledge was exactly what he needed to do.
Yeah. The Arctic Wolf here doesn't have jump jets, and this is a mining collective map. Like, it can't get over to jump onto that Direwolf. And then the Javelin isn't really a build that wants to dive. So.
Yep. There goes Redneck in that Javelin. Only getting chased down. Now here we have something that we were talking about in the interim. If you end up with a fight on the outside here over by like Sigma or Kappa, the team that takes the high ground is going to have an incredible advantage, and that's what we're seeing right here. Aben's just laying into whoever's next here. Extra better. Legal going down in short auto. Gas Guzzler almost dead here. CT is right there. You know, that just using that high ground to that advantage takes away some of the cover that they can use. Clutch just getting tucked into this corner.
Yeah, the Direwolf not going down, and nothing went right for Clutch on this drop here.
All right, here we've got David Renard here. Gonna go down here shortly.
Yeah, Stalker. I didn't even see that Stalker initially. I somehow missed that.
Yeah, he was off on the Kappa side. Goss Peeps tucked in here. Will he be able to take Rick Rom? Oh no, he's got that Direwolf to trade with. Rick Rom very cooked. That's all internal damage.
Yeah.
Nicely managed by Rick Rom there, not losing anything.
Okay, so that push on the Direwolf, it should have succeeded, but the mechs weren't there. The Arctic Wolf on this map, I'd call it a mistake. Not having jump jets on a brawler on this map is basically a death sentence. You know, I don't know. I don't get that pick. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's something I don't understand. But
it's an incredible SRM bomber. You know, it is put out so much damage, but like you said, without the jump jets, it's got to run around literally everything to get there. Let's see if my scoreboard's going to work this time.
There are maps I would take it on, and there are maps I would not take it on. And I would not take it on this map. On you know, just something to look at changing potentially.
Yeah.
So with that, we have a second win going to Aubens. Get that scoreboard updated here if I can do that. There we go.
Yep. And actually, did we? No, we did get that. Back to the left.
Doesn't want to.
I'm going to move us over to the map screen for sort of a little debrief. If you can do that while I'm getting these teams swapped.
Sure. I'm just going to run through the damage here real quick.
Yeah.
Top damage in the match, Lizzie and the Executioner, Rick Rom with 500 damage out of the Summoner as well. So kind of leading their team. Direwolf managed to put out 400 damage, not going down there. And just on the opposing side, you've got lower damage totals from the majority of Clutch. Just did not manage to get... The initial push looked good, but the stalling action from Aubins coming in behind and that Direwolf somehow staying alive kind of was a bit of a decider there.
Okay, sorry. Just check my sound because sometimes that happens when that weird happens.
Okay.
But we're good.
I'm going to the map room here if anyone wants to get a quick review. It was a push coming out of, that was Team 1, right? That was Clutch that took the push, and they kind of just went over the side ramps and almost picked off the Direwolf. Direwolf, I'm going to put a little red circle here for where that Direwolf is positioned.
I got a Direwolf marker for you there. There you go.
Perfect. And Direwolf managed to evacuate down to the low ground, and it was chased by 2 mechs from Clutch, which had the ability to go in. The Mistlings kind of was getting ahead of the Javelin, though, and the Arctic Wolf was not able to join. At the same time, we have Aubins. They had moved a number of mechs up, and they rotated around behind and put pressure on the side of Clutch's main body, which kind of just turned into a bit of a kill box. Let's put that kill box in green here.
Right here, I've got one right up there.
Yeah, and it just it's a position you have to move through in order to get to the Direwolf, but it's not a position you want to stay in for Clutch's perspective here. When you're facing against like the Snubnose PPC Crusader, I saw them doing work around the side of this tank. They can make short peeks and get out after having delivered their burst damage, and you're never going to be able to return sufficient fire with a laser vomit mech in that situation. And it's just that green box ends up being a terrible place to be located. You need to keep moving to get out of that, but they just got engaged on from behind. The tail wasn't able to keep up with the leading edge, and even the leading edge wasn't able to make the move that the Direwolf with the jump jets was able to make. So some things to change. The percentages were kind of low on Aubins at the end there, but I didn't see a whole lot of open center torsos either. There was heat damage there, maybe more than anything else on some of those mechs.
Yes, yeah, they were cooking themselves for the damage very skillfully. So, and actually quite impressive. Who was that? That was the Rick Roms in the Summoner there. It was pretty much all internal damage, and no lost anything. So the spread was. Yeah. Spread was very good. It was very well managed. I'm quite impressed at that paper doll we saw at the end there. Let's see what else we got. Once again, we are back up on MWO Leagues. It is functioning. Reminder, 7-minute delay there. Also, if you are on MWO Leagues, check out MWO Leagues 2 for Theric's point of view. As we wait for Team 1, it looks like we are at their 2-minute mark. All right.
Yeah, so I guess we're going on to the next map. Next map is going to be Vitric Station. Let's pull that up. So Vitric Station, not really that new of a map anymore. It's been around for over a year now. Everyone's kind of probably familiar with it. These teams, I was saying with Equilibrium versus Casterian Guards when they were playing, I was kind of expecting, range trade positions off to the side. With Aubins versus Clutch, I'm not really thinking that. These teams are going to be playing a little bit more aggressive. I don't know if they're just going to brawl at the ramps, but I'm thinking that they're going to be looking at those ramps. At least one of these teams is going to be looking at crossing those ramps. The other team might be playing receive. I don't know which is which, but I think we might actually have just a ramp brawl from these two teams with a couple of receive mechs, stationed further back. But this might be much more aggressive than some of the other. Between these two teams, this might be more aggressive on Vitric Station than what we've seen in the past. And
I would agree with you there. I will throw in a caveat that Clutch has been just sort of as a unit generally known for a little bit more range trading things, playing around the outside of the map.
Oh yeah,
So I
definitely.
would expect them to honestly try to set up to receive. I think EQ, especially after our last showing, is going to use that aggression
Yeah.
for sure. But I really think that Clutch is going to try to receive that. Is the way
When
this
I
is going
think
to go. I
of
don't think it's
Clutch
going to be
though,
face to face brawl.
for me, it's more about the backstabs. They'll have a couple flankers trying to backstab. I expect either, going which team side are they on? Are they on? They're playing
Avens
team
is team
two.
one side. Yes. Mhm.
Yeah, so Clutch is team two. So they might be trying to play, coming around side ramp or even going wide with a couple of mechs and shooting from side flanks, um, which have some mechs set up act to receive and then some backstabbing mid-range vomit or something of that nature from Clutch. That's what I would kind of suspect, as opposed to more of the sit back at the extreme ranges with the bulk of their team. They might be a little bit more positioned up with a few and then trying to
Oh,
backstab.
yeah. They're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna.
Like I don't
I definitely
think.
don't think they're gonna like hold way the heck back.
Yeah, like your
I would expect them
direwolf
to be
marauder
around. Yep.
2, like that's not what I'm thinking of for Clutch.
No. I think smaller things. But that being said, both teams are locked now, so let's hop
Okay.
on into it.
And they're each at 480 tons. I'm seeing that correctly. Yes. Okay.
Into our match.
Yeah, so this is the third drop. So far, it's 2-0 in the favor of Aubins. It's a best of 3. So Clutch needs to pull out a win here to keep going.
Yep. And after the polar match, I'll be very interested. Like I feel like they've got the capability. They need to pull it out. Obbins was making some mistakes there. Clutch unable to capitalize ultimately. But here we go. Looking at they enter so far out. Okay. We got a Mistlynx, Arctic Wolf, Direwolf, Kodiak. This is looking a little pushy on the Clutch side. So I am proven wrong here. Huntsman probably find that Huntsman here. Here we go. Probably SRMs. No, DACA. This is a whole lot of DACA. All right, so Clutch going for a mid-range DACA, maybe with a push option. Be interested to see that. What are we looking at for Albans?
So I was over on Clutch side. I'm gonna jump over.
Okay.
We've got a Crusader with mid-range vomit, ER large, and LPL, ER Mead. Sorry. Kodiak 3 with mid-range AC10 ER-PPC, so mid-range pinpoint. Highlander with 4 PPCs, standard PPCs, and MRMs, 3 MRM10. And Nightgear UAC 10, UAC 5, some definitely mid-range stuff. They've committed a fair bit.
Oh, hang on, I'm going
to
to cut you right off here. Tios is in a precarious position here. He is alone. There's 3. They don't know he's there. If they figure that out, that's a 4v1 jump right there. He's in a very bad spot.
Yeah, he's got light PPCs. He's looking to just put in some flank damage there.
Yeah, but if the unfortunately this team also groundbound. We were talking about those Jets. Valkyr down to 89%. Tios hanging out above them. I don't think they know. They got to throw up a UAV. Tios can see all of them. There we go. All right, and Tios getting back among the fold, being spotted. No point. Not a capitalization on that momentary disposition. But again, they don't have the eyes in the skies that we do. Wolfpack still hanging off there. Abens knows exactly where they are. Let's see here. Mech Warrior coming up. They are pushing up. Abens looking like they're getting in very aggressive positions here.
So this is definitely a receive from Clutch. You did call it correctly. Builds are, definitely a little bit mid-range with the AC5 Direwolf. It's not Gauss ER large. Nike's got
here we go.
Texan
Texan Scrubber around to find Redneck around here. This is jump. This is Wolfpack fight going on over here. Valkyr getting the focus at 70 something percent. It's dropping fast.
Now this is an outnumbered fight here.
Oh, here we go. Zeos getting opened up real bad there. Let's see how we're going here.
Clutch's lights have no support
Zeos
here.
escaping. Valkyr still in the mix. It is a whole ass mix
Zeos
up here.
is
Redneck
lagged.
Geek among the blues. Yep, there goes Valkyr. They're not focusing Redneck, which they should be. He's just hanging out there in the middle of all of them. Bowser a little stuck up against the wall in that Crusader.
Are they stuck on terrain? No, they're still moving.
Yeah, still moving. Hey, there's targets to shoot, and he's not really getting shot at all, right? So might as
Yeah.
well. Zio's raining down. Redneck Geek getting some shots in on Bowser there. It's a real mix up. Redneck Geek getting legged. Next leg almost there. Definitely cooking, trying to get that out. And we are 0-2 at the moment in favor. 0-3, sorry, as some of the traders start going down. Bowser's starting to get some focus here from Colonel Renard.
No.
Photon looking a little messed up.
So here we have Clutch's main body has made it to the fight now. Kodiak just goes down instantly, though, as they arrive. Gas Guzzler is now the focused target here. And numbers are just down for Clutch right now. So this
and
is
we see
not...
that CT focus on the Direwolf. Like, it's the focus fire here on Obbins is what pulled him out. Zio's with some good escapes going on here, too. What are we looking at here? Here's Goss Peeps. With the night gear tucked into the tunnel for some reason, gonna get jumped by the Firestarter Phoenix Hawk Mistlinks over here. Sorry, we totally missed those.
Down. And last one is that
Where are they?
Wolf,
There's Photon,
which is gone in trying to get a pick, but does not find the angle though.
Obbins with the cleanup. That all happened so fast. Good focus fire.
Zeus is at 14% on their Shadowhawk, and the game's still showing them alive to me.
No, that is that is correct.
That is 14%. That is quite impressive to me, just in terms of they were lagged. It might have been a focus fire issue, but they did manage to stay up.
Indeed, they did, which is good. Was able to get out there and continue raining damage. That's a major thing. Let me see here. Yes, we are looking at the right one. Here are the scores. Looking at the damage, honestly, a good spread among both teams. Lizzie and Rick Ron with those 560, 550. Definitely putting up there. That Arctic Wolf, though, pulling out 500 damage as well. Mistlink's a little anemic on the damage there. But on par with the other team's Mistlinks. I mean, looking at the damage, it's almost even. The focus fire, though, on Abins just dropped mechs so fast. And again, we see another team with that focus fire making all the difference.
Yeah, very aggressive play there from Obbins, and Clutch's backlines wasn't really able to participate in that fight when the lights were being engaged, whereas the high ground assaults from Obbins were able to shoot down. Legal put out 500 damage in their Arctic Wolf 1 before going down. That is a significant amount of damage from that 40-ton mech. No kills picked up on the side of Clutch, even though they got some side torsos off there. I know that the Kodiak was missing a side torso on the side of Obbins, but mech stayed up.
Yeah, absolutely. Impressive damage spread on the point of Obbins across the board there. Now I'm all right. Just checking on this stuff. Map score not showing up right on MWO Leagues 2. Interesting. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but that might be
the overlay didn't want to update. It's
gotcha.
Updated now.
Fair enough. Yes. Sometimes it takes a minute.
It doesn't want to refresh
but
all
thanks
the time.
to both teams. Well played by Abins there. We're not going to go over that one too much. It was just a whole ass brawl.
Yeah.
Basically,
it came down to high ground able to participate in that dive versus the range receive on the opposing side wasn't able to support their lights on the opposite side of the Citadel.
That is also a big thing. And then their Wolfpack just got absolutely junked by almost the whole team of Obbins there.
Yeah.
It was great response there. All right. Let's see what we've got. Oh man, when's the next one? Do we have a whole half hour to kill here?
The next match is scheduled to start at 2035, what I'm seeing. So that would be a half hour from now.
About a half hour from now. All right.
I've got some sandwiches to eat. I need to refill my water bottle. So
you go ahead, take your bio break. Let's let me see if I can find something to talk about here. Let's talk.
I'll throw up.
I'll take a look at.
I'll just throw up the timer here. Because we can take a 5-minute break.
I will keep talking.
Okay.
On MWO League.
I'll leave the map room up then. I'll leave the map room up for you.
So I will talk about Crimson Strait here. This is a map that has some diversity. Talking about general positions here. Let's talk about the island first. The island is a really important spot on this map. It is very easily accessible by both teams and has just an absolute commanding view. I'm just going to put this our sight lines here to some really important positions, right? They can see on the platform coming out the tunnel. They can fire up onto the saddle. They can even fire in between some of these buildings here, and of course on Insigma. These are all very. Oh, and also you can get some coverage of EPSI as well. Just looking at the sheer amount of important sight lines here, it's honestly a pretty crucial spot. Okay, this is the place for snipers. Everyone knows the snipers here. It is not unassailable. You can, and it can be used as cover too. So like, let's see here, Team 2 could come up here around the back to assault Epsilon 2 along the back of the snipers if they're not paying attention. And then actually they can carry it up into this this island spot here. I mean, they can just cross in as well. But to do that, you got to cross the open water. There's couple of short paths. Is a little trickier to take off of the Team 1 side. So if you've got a light on FC Gamma that's looking to capitalize on it, they basically have to go over the water to get to those snipers. And if they're paying it at all attention, it is just going to, well, you're just going to get shot in the face, right? So that is essentially the island and why it's important. You can counter it a little bit from the platform here. Right, you've got some. That's a really terrible line there. I'll just fix that up. You've got some shots up here onto the island, and again, if you basically take any of these sight lines, you can kind of counter it. But the thing is, with the island, you can fit 3 or 4 mechs here. Basically, the platform is your only real counter to that, because if you're trading over here in Gulf 5. You're going to have 3 mechs poking through more or less the same channel, while you can only really have 1 mech going out. It's a real lopsided position. So consider that. Here's another thing to consider is saddle. Saddle is a very dangerous place. For one, you've got multiple shots that can come up from, say, Delta 7, Echo 7 from the Theta region. Right, you can lob some back. It's really a little bit dynamic, but you can also get shot here from the island as well. You've got basically, if you have a team that's split, saddle is very dangerous, which in terms of the competitive series could be a bit at issue. You know, a team could split, probably not. You're probably going to get 1 light going off to Theta from each team over the saddle and around the back here, the upper city into the Theta area. So those are big things to keep to be aware of. If you've got a brawl team, actually, hang on, I'm getting past myself. So Team 1, some of those advantages we saw from EQ earlier today, playing on Crimson Straight, go back a little, I guess, in the previous cast now, since I had some sort of a hiccup. There is Team 1 can go straight to EPSI here, pause and trade. So if you get this EPSI spot, they had basically three assaults making these trades here. You've got decent sight lines. So if you've got anyone taking the saddle, it's a great intermediate place to set yourself up. That being said, you don't want to stay there because you're going to lose your angles really quick. So what they did was they pushed up to the island and took all those shots. You don't want to get corralled on this map, but this is the way to set up your traders, and then your wolf pack can play around the Echo 4, Echo 5, maybe even the Theta, using that tunnel to move around a little bit, depending on how well your traders are doing. From the Team 2 side, you get up on that platform, you can trade, you can even make a play for the island. Like, this is not necessarily a Team 1 thing. Team 2 can get to that island. I'm using the wrong tool there, sorry. Team 1 can get up onto the island. It's going to take them a little bit more time. There we go. But they can do it. There are some sniper positions relatively close up here, Gulf 5-ish. Again, you can use that. There's like a little cubby there, like right on the Gulf 5 numbers that you can use to trade with the island. but it's going to take you forever to get there, and you're probably going to take some hits along the way. Basically, Team 2, you need to move out. You need to disperse your positions kind of along this. You need to take the platform and figure out where the other team is. So scouting, very, very, very important on this map. Theta, well, actually, that's probably talking about the trade positions again, island platform. Moving on to where teams might want to go here. You've got Theta here. Theta is an important point because obviously Sigma, Kappa, Gamma, FC, those are givens. You might be able to get a back up here or there, but Theta is going to be important to control unless you're doing a brawl. If you're doing a brawl, actually here, I'll just bring some brawl lines here. You've got a couple options here from Team 2. You can just come across there. You can try to push across here. That's really iffy. Or you could try to, if you want to go the long way and just really control Theta, leave like a sniper on the saddle, but that's going to get capitalized. So actually, I'm going to erase that line. That's not a good line. Team 2, again, you've got essentially the same. That's unfortunate why that happened. But yeah, you can go back out over Team 2. You could also potentially go in side tunnel here and out tunnel, or just basically straight into them. So Team 1 has some good push. Well, so if you're doing a push, you don't have to worry about Theta. You're going to be crashing into the next team. That being said, you should maybe send something quick, like a little commando, or if you're feeling brave, a capping spider. But they got to get back into the fight. That's the important part. If you're trading, you got a little more time to worry about. You would think that holding the saddle here would be good against Theta. And it is. You can get a couple shots in here, especially from some of these outlying areas here in Fox 7. But if you do that, you are giving up basically all of this. You need traders here. You need traders here. It's a big split. You need to commit. 1 second. Opening or. All right. Oh, actually, you know what? I have important question. On the next match. Oh no, that was on the thing. So we're going as usual. So we've got 5 JDX v KDCM coming up. Sorry about the break there. All right, back to Crimson Straight. Yeah, so that Theta point can be important. It's probably going to be left there, maybe flipped. It's nothing to commit too much to. I'm sorry. It's a giant turtle eating. Oh my God, it is. All right. All right. Answered some questions there. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get started for the next drop. So next up, we've got 5 JDX versus KDCM, which should be a very interesting match here. So you're going to see some back-end stuff because I've lost some features on my streaming software. But crazy, so don't get too excited. Things to remember, we are on a 7-minute delay. So that is something that as we recently worked with. Let's see. Yes, logos are showing up correctly. All right. So, and actually I will, oh, we've already, sweet. Derek set that up before he went. Excellent. So yeah, we are, giant turtle eating a rock. God damn it. Who said that? Basalt, damn you. That's going to be in my head forever. That's awesome. So yeah, we got 5 JDX v KDCM coming up here shortly. JDX with a higher seed on that. But we'll be going through the map ban. We are on a 7-minute delay. If you check out MWO Leagues 2, that's going to be Therax's point of view. We're experimenting with a split, sort of a split stream point of view happening there. And we will be starting up in probably about 10 minutes with the map ban. And actually, let me alert folks here. Hello, hello, welcome back.
Yeah, Therex is here. He's just eating some lunch.
As one does.
Happens. Wasn't quite set up the way I should have been this morning. Yeah, I'm over streaming on MechWarrior Online 2. Ivor's got the main MWO Leagues channel right now, so yeah, we've got two different potential angles here. Hopefully, we can cover some different fights for everyone who's looking to watch things go down. This is going to be the third seed versus the sixth seed coming up here. 5th Jaguar Dragoons in the third seed spot, and KCM is in the sixth seed spot, or the Invitational Tournament. Hopefully we're going to have a nice close match here.
Yeah, and then there is going to be a bit of a break with that few hours. I don't have the UTC off me, but it's going to be basically tomorrow at 2 a.m. UTC time. Check the tournament, which is posted and a pinned link in the CS channels on the MWO Comp Discord, if you want to see in your local time. But for me, that's going to be about 10 Eastern for those of you stateside. But I think that makes it 1, 2, 4. Yeah, it'll be about 2 a.m. UTC tomorrow, just because of the way time zones work. Wait, no, hang on.
Yeah, it's just
this is my time. Yeah, 10 p.m. Yes, that's correct. Yeah, so there will be a brief break, and then we'll be back with Darksea Corsairs versus Sky Ranger Jaegers.
Yeah, we've got that. Yeah, but we've got that 5th Jaguar Dragoons KDCM starting up in probably 10 minutes from people seeing this.
Yeah.
Like
well, yeah, somewhere around that. Just ballpark numbers I like. Yeah. We'll be starting up the map ban in 10 minutes from when we're doing it.
Yeah. Hard to work with. Time zones are pretty easy for me, but this whole idea of delay, complicated.
I can understand that. It is
it's difficult.
The reason why I usually have my right, absolutely. And it's unfortunate when hiccups go wrong, because like troubleshooting takes a minute. All right, so we've got a couple minutes here. Oh, I should get invites out. Let's see, and then we might have a quick some time for some hibernal chat once I get that done. Just a few minutes on hibernal. Actually, do you want to chat about hibernal while I get things set up?
Yeah, I can pull that up. Let's get that map on. Hibernal is a map that I'm actually competitive play. We'll pull that type of stuff. So talk just a generic team 1, team 2 here. Now your classic strats are epsilon push. You know, a little bit less on the kappa push. This is essentially Canyon Network. It's kind of based off the old Canyon Network. Some changes made to the old Canyon Network. This, I guess down here, this dropship, extra cover that didn't exist on the old Canyon Network. There's a little bit more cover here than the old Canyon Network had as well. But it's different than the new Canyon Network in that, Theta actually has cover, significant amounts of cover, as opposed to, there's a giant volcano here. And then, the tunnels are different. Ice tunnels. There aren't as many ramps on Hibernal Rift as the new Canyon Network has, or current Canyon Network, but a lot of the features are very similar. If you've played Canyon Network, you've played Hibernal Rift, more or less. Like, if we're getting into the nitty-gritty of comp strats, maybe there's a little bit of difference, but generally speaking, there isn't. If a team elects to play a range trade style, the power position most noteworthy is the Junkyard on Canyon Network. On this, it's a volcanic outcropping of some sort over in Bravo 5. And your other positions are kind of playing just on the back ridge line. Let's not draw an arrow there. Let's make it look nice. No arrow. We've got a back ridge line here. How do I make curved lines? Let's keep going.
It's the little dotty one.
Yeah, let's just keep going.
Yep.
So also you can play ridge line, kind of Charlie 4, Bravo 4 as the team 2 side. As team 1, you've got power positions like Bucket Hill and Delta 5. It's maybe not as strong on Hibernal as it is on Canyon Network, just some of the ice crystals where they line up. It feels to me as though it's not as strong a trade position. And then you've got, of course, the radio tower area, Delta 3, still relatively strong trade position if you're electing to play range strat. And then, of course, the back ridge line. Let's draw that out. Delta 4. So if you're playing around the Epsilon corner, that's kind of your power positions, your options. You play a receive at Epsilon corner. The volcano is very important, or to a lesser extent, Bucket Hill. And you play kind of on the ridge line, kind of pull back if there is a push. Now, teams can also play cap side. Cap side doesn't lend itself to range trade. Now, I don't know if these teams are going to elect to play range trade like what we're coming up here. It's a bit of a more aggressive meta in MechWarrior Online currently than it was 2 or 3 years ago when I was more active as a comp player, where we were playing, the majority of teams were playing range receive strats. Now I'd expect to see more of this Snubnos PPC type stuff going on with the strength of the red lasers in the current meta. Decks like the Crusader and the Executioner that can just boat a bunch of red lasers backing up a couple of peeps or what have you. But Epsilon push strat still very, very strong, and once you make it around that corner on either side, you're getting up onto those receive positions relatively fast, and there's some limitation as to the spread that teams can have while still supporting against a push. Now, if both teams are brawling or playing more aggressive strats, then it just kind of ends up as a low ground brawl. Yep. Any Overwatch mech can be very valuable in that type of a situation. If you have one mech out in Bravo 4 or hanging out in Delta 4 shooting into the low ground brawl, that's advantageous. But I don't know how these teams are going to play. Like we're coming up on 5JDX versus KDCM. KDCM very known for pushing. 5JDX probably factor that into what they're building. Now this 5JDX is a little bit different than.
Yeah, let me push back on that a little bit. Sorry to cut in here on the KDCM. Sure. You are correct. They are very well known for their push brawls. However, as of last year, no, actually, I think the year before, there's been a shift. They have been diversifying into some range trats. They're becoming one of those more unpredictable units, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe KDX will be ready for them. I expect
JDX.
Jesus Christ. Yes, 5JDX to be more they tend to be one of those more versatile teams, much like JDX. Even if you push against JDX, like they are known for being able to trade, but they will receive a push like nobody's business. 5JDX. I mean, look at all those JDX tags. I mean, it's
I mean, they've
got a lot of the same people, and they are going to bring those skills. They're a really fantastic team to watch.
Yeah, they're definitely. I don't know if they're where I rank them currently in the competitive team. Things have shaken up a little bit in MechWarrior Online the last little while, but they're definitely one of those top 5 teams, even if they're not necessarily a top 2 or top 3 team anymore. Just with some of the other teams having improved, and then some players moving around between all the different teams, and a prominent team deciding to take off this next competitive tournament. Of course, we should be covering a Kappa push here, as that is a possibility.
That is true.
Kappa push, you're looking at low ground from. What did I do to my lines? I wanted my arrows on here. Okay, there we go. Low ground push from Kappa for Team 1. You can either go cut in a little bit or go wide, and you can also supplement that with some crossing over near Theta, Charlie 3 low ground, if you're electing to make a push. Whereas against those volcano receive positions, the mechs can stay in the low ground, and you can't really see them from the volcano. Even from this back ridge line, you're not necessarily getting the angles in, so you need to get that scouting intel from a light around, maybe going toward Kappa or going toward Theta, and just kind of spotting what's coming and making that adjustment. or else you can get jumped on this back ridge line in Bravo 3 before you can get out, and things can go poorly. Now, Team 2 also has some options to play around Kappa that they may or may not elect to do. Again, they kind of just spawn a little bit closer with the Alpha, so they can go for a Kappa spawn, Kappa early grab, and kind of play a little bit more on the ridge lines around Kappa. You can get your intel if there's a range trade, because if you pop up on a ridge and you see enemy mechs on a ridge, you know that they're trading, or if you don't see them on a ridge, you have a pretty good idea that they're in the trenches, and you can set up kind of either to receive or to jump in on them, try to get aggressive, try to find a pick while the opposing team is with the Alpha spawn. If you're rushing toward Theta Kappa, you can get there early, but maybe you don't have the support from whatever you put in Charlie spawn trying to jump jet up and crossing, or the Bravo spawn just lagging behind. With the trenches the way they're laid out approaching Kappa, it's a little bit easier maybe for Team 2 to get their support in, get a bit of an uneven fight around Kappa if both teams do decide to just kind of rush toward it. Or Team 2 can have some mid-range receive around Kappa to participate in that brawl, whereas Team 1 is a little bit more limited on those options. Again, Radio Tower is a very strong position. Even if you're pushing Kappa with the majority of your force, you can throw an Executioner or something of that nature in Delta 3 and just drive the opponents off of the ridge line that they'd like to be receiving on, and force them to dedicate into either trench side, where the close quarters favor the brawlers against mid-range stuff.
Let's put some closing comments on here. I'm gonna offer on Hibernal here. If you're on a newer team, all these strats viable. They've been set out. Mm-hmm. The one thing you don't want to do is get clustered. If you're gonna push, cluster up and push all at once. That makes all the sense in the world. But if you are trading, the thing to avoid at all costs is getting clumped. Like, you will see folks on Team 1 side get clustered around this Delta 4 position, and they'll just like be hiding around the same rock. That is death, because you are literally giving the whole rest of the map, and they are just going to have this nice concave firing on line on it because you gave it to them. Likewise, all these big rocks teams have a tendency to just tuck in, and yes, these death zones that I see you're marking right here, absolutely.
If you
don't get stuck together, spread out.
Yeah, if you're a very new team, try to stay out of those pink boxes, and I'd recommend the easy strat is just an Epsilon push. That is, if you have a low level of coordination, low level of familiarity, Epsilon push is probably the easiest strat to pull off. So if you're one of those non-contending for top 12 teams, if you're looking for a finish in the 30s to 60s type placement, just kind of getting together, having a little bit of fun, not necessarily pulling out scrims and practices, Epsilon push is a pretty easy strat to pull off. It's a classic for a reason.
Oh yeah.
And just avoid the pink boxes, please, please, please.
Yeah, it's a bad time. It's kind of like when the whole team in quick play takes the low ground in Vitric Forge. It's over immediately. All right. All right, we're going to start the selection process. Over here on the map band, going to get my little typing fingers ready here as we see them pop up. So the way that this works, real quick, Team A, which is 5JDX, is going to get first choice of map. That is going to be the first map we play. And that's going to alternate until we've got them all selected. And then KDCM, or Team B, is going to choose which sides they are going to be. So it looks like we are starting with Polar. Interesting choice. We saw that last time. Everything is just going out of my brain right now. Help. Avens chose that. All right, following with Vitric. And then Crimson. All right, so we've got a little bit of a mix up of maps going here. I think we will see every single map, even with 2 sweeps. So that's pretty exciting. All right, Mining will come fourth, and then Hibernal. We're now waiting on choosing sides. KDTM gets to choose which side they get on Polar.
It's good to see some map variety here. In prior competitive leagues, basically, you didn't see anything more than 3 maps through until we got into best of fives, where teams were being forced onto playing not one of the same 3 maps.
Yeah.
So this map pool may be having a little bit less of a clear, preferred maps, group of preferred maps. It's good to have variety, and this is early. Maybe teams will figure it out, and they'll figure out, hey, we only like these 3 maps, and we really don't want to play those 2. Maybe that'll happen yet, but.
And those of you who might be watching who are newer to everything, when you hit group queue, it's going to work much the same way. You won't be choosing 5 maps. It will be a map ban rather than a map select.
Yep.
But it is going to be, what is that? Is that team 1 for JDX? Okay, on Vitric. It's much the same. There are basically 2 maps. Like if you are a new team and you're just getting into the queue, pick 3 maps out of this pool, because you can. One is for variety, right? You can ban 2 of them, like, and guaranteed. One mostly for variety, and those are the ones you're going to want to focus on.
Yeah. So
team 1 for
Here the teams are playing the maps that they want to play in comp queue itself. When you're the team leader, you're banning maps. So you have 2 bans, and your opponents have 2 bans. So if you always ban the same 2 maps, there's only 3 maps that you need to have a map strat for.
Yep.
And it's always the map that doesn't get banned that you end up playing in comp queue, because it's a best of 1. It's not a best of 3. But
are they just going to make this easy for me? No way.
Come on. These
just
teams,
the same sides.
Yeah, these teams might know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we've got Polar Highlands into Vitric Station, Crimson Strait, and then Hibernal Rift, which is, it'd be interesting. 5th Jaguars Dragoons picking Polar Highlands is maybe the more range receive map. If they want to play range, that could be why they're picking it.
I would expect so. And then KDCM coming in with something a little shorter maps. And that's the thing. If you look at it, JDX has chosen the longer range maps, and KDCM has chosen the shorter range maps just off the bat. So I think that is going to play into the strategy. But we are starting with Polar Highlands. I'm actually going to send us over to the map room while I get these started. Making sure settings. All right, we're going to start the team 1 timer now. And let's talk about not Hibernal. That's what's up here. Let's talk about Polar real quick. I know we've done this before, but we will continue before.
Yeah, Polar Highlands. A lot of walking from spawn, and it is that Gamma Castle point that if teams are electing to play a dedicated range trade, that's something that they'll likely be looking to try and take control of. But what we saw last drop, it kind of was dictated by Theta and Caps and cap control, but it was a push across Theta in the previous match that we watched on this map today. I don't know if either of these teams are going to go for that kind of a strat, but there are range receive positions near Theta that teams could be playing toward. See if we can, let's throw some circles down. I like circles. Let's make them pink. So just kind of like some range positions near Theta, and then also further back as well. There are some elevated positions that teams could be playing toward. A little bit hard to tell what's what on here because of the everything's white from an overview top view here, but we saw how fast the caps can tick in a 5 cap scenario where one team grabs 3 or 4 caps, and so these teams need to keep an eye on that because they do spend, like, literally the results are going to spend a minute and a half walking toward Theta if they elect to head that way. It's just a really long walk from spawn, and if the caps are ticking that entire time, you look up at the scoreboard and the opponent team is at 500 caps already, and that's a situation both teams need to try and avoid, losing track of what the cap situation is. And early on, we could see scouts going out to the side caps, even if they're playing a mid-range pressure. There's enough time for the lights to go grab Kappa or Gamma and get a scout toward the main before your main body makes it up toward more of these closer range trade positions. there's a lot of time for those scouts to get that intel and grab a cap before rejoining the main. Or you can rush Theta, and rushing Theta is a popular strategy on Hibernal Rift for the Lights early game. You can see a early 3v2 skirmish at Theta or what have you. If you can get in at Theta early and then you hang out at these range positions kind of near it, you can kind of cover that cap, start taking the cap. It's just that when you move up as close as some teams do toward Theta, they can get jumped as well. It's a little bit quick play to play around Theta, but because of the cap situation and how fast those caps can tick, I think in competitive we tend to see that a fair bit as well. Again, I love doing the long range slow trading on this map, but it just takes so long to get into position. In a 5 cap format, it can just kind of get out of control too fast.
Potentially. Depends on what your Wolfpack is doing. If they're on top of those caps, like, you got all the time in the world to get there. Yeah. For sure. But, you know, again, this is a different, and here's another thing, anyone new watching this to get a sense of what it is, very different than quick play. You know, you need the tactics. You got to think about these things. It's about the big brain plays. You can't just quick play yourself into this. Yeah. So things that you see in quick play that work won't necessarily work here. They could, but in general, you're going to be so much more coordinated and effective that certain things you won't be able to stumble into.
The big difference is that, well, okay, you're on VoIP, so that's part of it, but you pre-coordinate your mechs together, knowing the map. So if you want to run a 5-pack on here, you can just pick out which 5 mechs are going to be packing together, give them a similar speed with coordinating their specific builds on the various variants, and then like pre-plan your pathing and all of that. And in quick play, you just drop into a match, and you don't know what you're bringing, what map you're going to when you decide what mech you're bringing. And you know, that really changes things up in terms of ability to coordinate a strategy.
All right. And actually, that's probably a good point for us to swap over. We're going to.
Teams are looking ready.
Yes. So we are going to launch as soon as I can figure my fingers out how to type launching in the chat. I'm pretty sure I spelled it wrong too. So you know what? We're going with what we got. All right.
Yeah, both teams have the full 480 tons. There. So no surprises there.
We have the right sides, right? JDX on the left. It's so weird having to think about whether I have to switch the sides or not. But hey, I don't have to think about it here. So thank you to JDX and KDCF for making my job all that much easier.
All right, getting in on the Polar Highlands. I'm excited to see what these teams are bringing.
Heck yeah. You know, side thought. I know it's like off topic, but I wonder what goes into the decision to use drop ships or stick them on the ground.
Well, the old maps didn't have drop ships. That's maybe part of it, but there aren't a whole lot of those maps left in this game, so
yeah. All right, here we are. We're doing side note over. All right, I'm over here with KDCM. I've got a Piranha 1.
Piranha.
Let's see what the mix is on that. James in that. James, a legendary light pilot here. We got Jane and Exy. Again, curious on that. PPCs, small pulse in the fists. The skull again with PPCs, LB20s. This is looking a little pushy, quite frankly. Let's see what's on the summoner before I make that distinction. SRMs, this is a push from KDCM, 100%.
All right, so we've got a lot of bracket builds, as is the meta right now, out of 5 JDX, or 5th Jaguar Dragoons. They do have an ER large Supernova, mass ER large. I believe it was 6. No, it's 8 ER large on that Supernova 1.
Ooh, all right.
And then it's ER PPCs on the Crusader, and 2 ER peeps on the Summoner, Executioner. Executioner has a lot of red laser backup, so it might be able to handle a brawl push. Summoner's got backup lasers with its 2 ER peeps. Rival's got heavy machine guns with its ER peeps. And then it was the Incubus had a single heavy large, 2 ER mead, and 4 heavy machine guns. So they do have a single heavy large there, which will provide some range poke.
Early fight, we're going to get some fight here at Theta. Yep. It's a 3-on-2, 4-on-2 actually. Bacon Lord.
Ran
with the Rival throwing some in.
Yeah, they're outnumbered here, 5th Jaguar Dragoons. As soon as they see that, well, they've got the
not
Vapor
so much.
Eagle
They've got
backing them
Overwatch at this point. Yep, and they're tearing into Shones here. Let's take a look at how badly that is. Oh, that's a headshot, actually, more than anything else.
It might have not started much head armor.
Yeah.
Viper.
It moves around so fast. Headshots on them are near
Yeah.
impossible. Lanner looking a little iffy too. I swear if I see another headshot on that. No, Lanner is cooking for the most part.
Cooked and maybe masked a little bit. On that leg's taking some damage.
Yeah, I bet you that's mass damage and a strike. That's what that'll be. And here we are. We're grouping up for this push. Dario and Kogert are getting out of dodge, which is the thing to do. Right into Giggity and Jay pushing up with the backing up. Yep, and here they are in fact backing up. There goes Shones in the. Was that a headshot?
Nope, not a headshot. Center torso.
All right, fair enough.
Piranha is legged and side torso. It's down.
And here's the 5JDX focus fire coming right in. They've got the position. They've got the concave. It's kind of hard to see with all the UAVs, but you can see it on mine. They've got that nice little concave going.
Just being focused here. Execution, a lot of leg damage there. Can it get finished off fast? Jay's already down to 50%. This is not looking good for KDCM.
There goes Grolsch. Jormungandr getting a little mixed up here. Mostly internal damage. Looks like 2 wars.
Bacon Lord is legged in the Vapor Eagle.
Yep. Jay cooking himself 2 wars in the
Dario's legged as well. No, Dario's not legged. They need to be getting out of that trench.
It's 2 and 3. 5J with really a commanding armor lead at this point, though. Jormungandr going to go down here very shortly.
Couple leg mechs on the 5th Jaguar Dragoons, but the remaining armor on KDCM is not enough to get to that back line, I don't think.
Brower should be going down here any second. Oh no, he takes Dreadnought out, who was gonna stay behind for Brower as they moved on, and Brower survives. All right, let's see. We've got 2 fresh mechs versus 2 beat up mechs. I think we've still got all weapons though.
Yeah, Summoners so it's gonna be halved tough. Here. Just got halved.
There it goes.
Ryan
Kirigami losing a leg. But here's
Ryan's,
the rest of 5J.
Ryan's coming mostly heat damage, but their last one up and they go down. So even the Supernova manages to survive with one leg missing.
Yeah, just they got through the armor a little bit on that one. But yeah, well done by 5J. They saw the push. They pulled back. They even held back for it. I bet you they spotted that early. Yeah. Which is the tough thing on a push on this map. It's viable. But you can't be spotted. Once you're spotted, they have so much time to figure out what to do. And 5J doing exactly that, getting into that concave, using those choke points beautifully.
Focus fire was quite good from 5th Jaguar Dragoon. And I'm going to point out the early skirmish around Theta. Both teams were contesting it, but that allowed for the scout of the push. The push kind of just came through Theta, and no one from 5th Jaguar Dragoons got picked off at the Theta cap, and they would have gotten the scouting intel there with, the massive UAVs and then just seeing the push come through as they were evacuating.
All right, let's take a quick look at the stats here. Let me get those. I'll get the more detailed view here momentarily, folks. As soon as that decides to update itself, maybe. We'll see. Maybe it's done it without me seeing the blink.
Yeah, it's up for me now.
It's up. All right, sweet.
Got the damage up on the screen here. It kind of just, there's a pair of double Ds over on the side of KDCM. The Piranha and that Viper kind of leading the push for the rest of their team ended up getting picked early. Some well-aimed shots, I would take it. And just higher damage on the side of the 5th Jaguar Dragoons successfully pulling off the receive.
Yeah, those CT shots on that Viper really did take it down rather quickly. It was when I was noting the headshot, the head open, it was a little weak on the CT, which doesn't seem like a big deal. But then 5JDX with that focus fire is just like, get away with that armor. You don't need that. But yeah, we're moving on to, well, actually, we kind of talked about it a little bit on Polar. If we want to do a little debrief on that, we kind of talked about it. But I mean, ultimately, it's a straightforward push. But let's draw some lines on a map while we got the time.
Yeah, why not? So it was KDCM playing from Team 2. There was an early skirmish around Theta for both teams as they ran in their lights, but the over on the side of 5JDX, they managed to pull the lights out as they got their support lines set up to take the receive on the incoming push. Ran around here and up on, I think India 8 was the other location with the buildings where they were receiving some of their mechs, and KDCM made the push. They were starting to go around the right side of NDA8, and then they went around on the left side of NDA8. I don't know if they pulled back mechs or if it was the light mechs that were going in. And the push just kind of stalled out. Mechs dying, trying to do a pincer. They did manage to get some kills there in that NDA8 grid with their mechs, but during that time, this back line from KDCM in Hotel 7 with the Supernova and what was the other mech? Supernova and Executioner and Summoner, I believe, right? And they managed to put in a fair bit of damage there. Well, KDCM just wasn't getting the kills fast enough over in India 8 in order to get, the kills up top, drop into the trench, wrap around. It just was a little bit too slow on that full play. They ended up taking way too much damage. Didn't have the armor to complete the push. They were within range, but they had lost too much armor off of their mechs. Very quick fight. Just a skirmish around Theta and then a brawl push. Nice and simple. Anything you want to add to that, awesome. Or just on to the next map?
It was a brawl push, nice and simple. Like that's the thing about brawl pushes. They are ultimately simple. Yeah.
Let's talk always, about. But yeah.
Well, yeah, but this one.
Vitric Station here.
Actually, one other point on that. You saw the motion from 5JDX and how they did have their screen in view of their Overwatch, in view of their blue lasers. That's critical if you are receiving a push. Just something to note. Stay mobile. And your lights get the fuck out of there. Sorry for that. I guess that's my one to keep this rated PG-13. But GTFO. But under cover of your bigs, and they'll take care of it. If they need to back up, they will. But can't stress it enough. If you're the light pack, stay under cover of your bigs, and you can have so much room to move. All right, on to Vitric. Sorry, those are my last thoughts. Oh, did we lose you?
No, I'm still here. Somebody's asking a question in chat.
Oh, gotcha. I'm working on rules in there. So yeah, Vitric, take over when you get a chance there. But in general, Vitric is you want to be on top. You don't want to give up the top, which was just what it is. I think we're going to see. Well, hang on, Team 1 is locked, so I'm going to go ahead and get that there.
I think 5JDX might pull off a range receive strat here, where they would be playing. They're on Team 1 again, right? No team switching, so that's easy. So there's some receive locations that they could be playing off on the sides a little bit. Maybe if they are electing to do that type of stuff, and then playing kind of back from the ramps, not up front toward the ramps. If that's something I can communicate there. And so what I'm thinking is that they might do the range receive, expecting their opponents to push along the ramps, or even a low ground push, and then these range receives locations can put in a lot of work. They've got distance between where the push is coming from and good sight lines toward it. Now, what we saw a previous match here today was that there was a push, but what happened is the lights from the one team, they engaged in the low ground. These ranged Overwatch positions can't see toward. There's too much blocking terrain. They have no view, and you can't as a light pack, if you've got your range receive set up on the one side or the other, you have to have the brawl. You can't engage light versus light or medium versus medium as it is in a low ground position where your Overwatch can't see. You have to make sure that fight is where your Overwatch can see, and that's the advantage of playing up top along the ridges. If you're pushing with your main assaults, if you play up on the ridge, you can see down to all the low ground on either side, make that adjustment relatively easy. And whereas these Overwatch positions toward the back, they can't really do that. If they drop and they make a move up, they're basically just closing the distance against brawlers, which is really what you never want to do as a range assault. But if you can't see anything, you do have to make an adjustment so that you can participate in the fight. And that's a lot of just team coordination. Your lights and mediums have to have that game sense in order to know that they have to only take fights where the Overwatch can assist, or else they're effectively outnumbered. And I don't know if KDCM is going to make a push here or not. I don't know for sure that 5JDX is going to play in range receive, but that is just my inclination here, is that KDCM is probably going to play top or the center, and 5JDX might be the team hanging some range off to the side.
Maybe.
KDCM might
I
play
would,
mid-range, not necessarily brawl, but they'd probably play it from up top with their main body, and then maybe Pop-Tart flankers on the low ground, as opposed to sticking something off to the side with like a direwolf or something of that nature.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I think KDCM brawl on this one again, and I think they try to do a fake out on range on the third one. I think they like play those mind games some for. They've got a bit of trade in their repertoire. I think they're probably good for it. We'll go ahead and launch here.
Both teams have 480 tons, I believe.
Yep, both at 480. Yeah, and we'll see how this one turns out. I guess I don't have the here. Let's get that. There we go. Let's get that cool stinger going there. Sorry, that was vanity on my part. I'm not sorry. Not showing the. Okay, so yeah,
I'm still loading in.
Oh yeah, it looks like your scoreboard is not cooperating.
Wait, what?
Not sure what's going on there. Yeah, someone in leagues just said it looks like your scoreboard was still showing EQ versus the guard.
No, my stream preview is not showing anything of that nature.
Curious.
I can check my stream itself. Every time I try to roll up the stream, it's gonna have an ad.
Yeah, don't worry. I wouldn't worry about it too much. All right, let's see here. I'm gonna talk about KDCM here for a sec. Let's see. PPCs on the XC. Looks like a laser vom on the Marauder 2. We've got a Crusader with all the small lasers. So the small laser variant, a Dervit. What is this another push? Yeah, this is another push. SRM's all over the place. Yep, here's our KDCM push with James taking some points and hopping up later.
Okay.
5J taking a very nice spread of positions here, checking out the map. You can see the scouting happening. Just look at the mini map. A beautiful spread.
So I'm looking here at 5JDX. The Mad Cat has 2 UAC 10, 2 UAC 5, 1 ERPPC. That is a little bit non-standard. Phoenix Hawk, Snub Nose, small lasers, Executioner, 2 large pulse with 6 ER Mead and ER Micro. They're moving up with that still. With those ER Meads, they need to start pulling back, I think, on that mech. Brower in that Viper with small pulse, ER Micro. We have a fight in the basement already.
Yep, this push is happening here. Jormungandr, 90% in yellow, probably a little open head component, I would imagine, a little bit there. We've got a couple mechs holding the top. The Executioner and the Marauder 2.
Annihilator here is getting jumped. Grolsch is getting legged. That's an AC5 light PPC.
Wolfpack. Yeah, this 5J Wolfpack is being merciless. Meanwhile, KDCM also being merciless. This is Wolfpack eating the bigs, and we'll see what's left at the end. Jormungandr going down. Can KDCM answer here? We've got James pulling off for Weapon Master and is going to get eaten. Kieran's down, but James is in trouble.
Yeah, James
and that is going to
weaken
that Wolfpack.
Trying to get a dive on that Executioner. Executioner escaped to low ground.
He needs to pull back to his friends, though. They are in trouble here. Jay coming in. Weapon Master going down. Brower going down. Ooh, KDCM might take
this. This is looking good for KDCM.
It is. Jay is about to go down real fast, though, but the focus
Jay's
fire
open
is
in
good.
the rear at 39%, but the rest of them is fresh. So they just need to keep their front toward the enemy.
Cougar real close to going down. I'm assuming he's XL on that, so if they can take that.
Cougar, there goes Bacon Lord.
This is going to be KDCM.
Yeah,
KDCM with the push. There goes Twarses. I should have checked that pronunciation before we did. And Cougar holding on.
Both legs open. Cougar down in one shot there. Side torso. Last one's Dario.
Very nicely done on Katie's. Oh no, Dario's still up. All right, there it is.
It looks like it was legged, so they're down.
Fair enough.
Jay survives 28%. Everything's kind of not looking so good except for the legs.
Yeah. Well done, KDCM. Also, James alive at 30% net mislinks. Also very good.
KDCM picking up a little bit of an upset, but we are moving down toward 3rd seed versus 6th seed. It's not as large a gap anymore, skill level between these two teams.
All right, let's scoot on over to the scoreboard. All right, I'll put that in for KDCM. We are 1-1 right now. No sweeps. Doing a quick look over the damage. Look at this spread. It's all 300s. Oh, 404. Jay's damage not found. So that's a 0, right? No, but well played both teams there. KDCM with
Yeah.
a little bit of an upset there. Well
And
done. Well done.
it was you know, when they got on that Annihilator and took that out, you know, in a pretty lopsided dive there, that's where that fight turned, in my opinion. Uh, yeah, they were able to. I mean, Weapon Master X lived a little bit longer, but it's because they dropped down to the low ground where they weren't really able to participate anymore while
Yep.
while the Mad Cat was getting picked off. So, very well executed from KDCM coming up with that push there. And that's maybe a little bit of a positioning issue with 5JDX moving that executioner up. It did have the ER Meads with the large pulse. It was more of a mid-range vomit as opposed to the bracket build with all the red lasers. So you don't want to be playing that as close up, in my opinion. You want to try and play that a little bit further back. But in the end, I mean, it got pushed past anyways. The dive went on to the Annihilator, which was definitely playing toward the further back. And they weren't playing the side positions at all. Like the side positions I pointed out, I'm going to pop up the map here real quick.
I'm already there.
So everything from 5GDX was just playing toward the back of the I don't know, what do you want to call these bridges?
Oh.
The back of the rear of the bridges and a little bit toward the ramps. They weren't playing these side positions at all that I was pointing out as good range receive positions. So they didn't have that extra buffer space against the incoming brawl push.
But they did go with the 4-man Wolfpack there, or maybe it was a 5-man. But they had the scouting here. I'm just gonna drop a bunch of mech things that are light mechs, but I'm using the assault because they're a little more visible. You know what? I'm gonna change that to or something. At one point, ooh, sorry about that. The spread looked something like this. One underneath there, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, and maybe like another one here. They had a whole spread overlooking everything. So they saw that push, and then I think that's where those outside positions, they just need more targets so that KDCM can't focus as much, and that's why they pulled it in. I don't think they'd use the long range positions necessarily.
Yeah.
But that spread, that scouting, they looked at the whole entire map. If you have a team that's struggling with scouting a little bit, look at that mini map, because it was so textbook. They saw the whole map in the first 30 seconds, and that's the kind of stuff you need to do. Saw that push, was able to pull back. It wasn't enough because they were a little, somewhere below, somewhere above.
Yeah.
The receive could have been executed a little better, but that scouting, chef's kiss.
Yeah, and Vitric Station's actually a relatively small map in terms of like time from spawn till engagement. It just plays very, very fast. There's efficient movement from spawn with these ramps right near where you're trying to get up, and you can just kind of straight line it without having to go around any terrain. So yeah, as a brawl push team, there's not much time for the receive team to get into positions. You have to kind of pre-move. Yeah, you can get the scout information, but you don't have a lot of time to react.
Yeah,
and you have to come out of the dropship already moving, basically. Like if you hesitate and spawn, like on some maps, not a big deal. You've got some time, but on Vidric, it's just, it feels fast to me when I'm playing it.
Yes, it is one of those smaller maps, right? Which makes it what it is. Coming up on, well, we're past the 2-minute warning here on Team 1. Looks like they're going to use all the time, and that's fine by me because we can talk about Crimson Straight.
Yeah, Crimson Straight here. So 5 cap, again, Theta's off to the side, being that weird cap that everyone has to decide if they're going to ignore or try to play to. And we talked about this earlier. The island is the key. What was that? The rock that the turtle's eating?
Yeah, which is wild. Turtle eating a rock. Yes, the island is a key spot for sure.
Yeah, but that pink doesn't look good. I'm going to change that color. What color do you think looks good on the island?
Green is always nice.
Green? Okay. I mean, it's green on green, but it's quite different shades of green. Sure. So we've got the island. I don't know if both teams are going to go for island or not. What we saw previously was in a previous match, Team 2 was trying to play saddle, and playing behind Kappa, in front of Kappa, and then sending some mechs up onto the saddle. and that just did not work out for them. I think Team 1 might have the better positions here with everything. In terms of access to Theta being a little bit easier coming around behind or tunnels, as opposed to going over the saddle. Going over the saddle, your mechs can get scouted very easily from mechs in Delta 4, Delta 3, or even pushing up to the island. Whereas the mechs moving behind the mountain are a lot harder to scout, to spot. And you're kind of moving in terms of traders. If you want to dedicate traders to supporting Theta, from Team 1's side, you can just play on the back line of the city and kind of shift them along this railroad track to go support at Theta. Whereas on Team 2, if you're putting if you want to support any move toward Theta, you have to go up onto the top platform. Top platform doesn't necessarily have the best cover, platform and saddle, against potential traders that might be hanging out over in come on, I want to change that color. Delta 3, Delta 4 can kind of have decent angles down toward shooting at mechs on the top platform. And then also this window position over in Echo 3 is very powerful. Team 1 has better access toward that than Team 2 does. Now, Team 2 could just
real quick, I'm going to hop in here, just so we can get to launch, just some sort of thoughts. My predictions here.
Yep.
I think we're going to see 5J take very similar position to it was EQ. Some initial staging here on Epsilon, like I was talking a bit, and then move to the island. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a KDCM push across the island, playing those mind games, try to get those out, and then wolf packs just kind of descend.
And that's
what I think I would like to see from KDCM, but we'll see. This could be the fake out.
That's basically the two strats that Team 2 has. You either go saddle or you push island, and pushing island definitely feels more KDCM.
All right. That being said, we're going to launch, get this show on that proverbial road.
All right. Both
again,
teams
I
have
like the stinger,
480 tons. Whoa. Am I still here?
You are still here as far as I can tell.
Oh, it's just a tab that did something.
Cool.
I had a flicker on my screen and I started panicking.
Ooh, I had a weird hiccup before. Not the one that caused the crash, but let's see here.
All right.
Oh, I did it again. What did I hit? This is we'll just watch people loading in. Everyone's loaded in. I don't know. There we go.
Okay. I'm here. I hear music. Sounds like we've got a drop.
Oh damn. All right, folks, hang tight. I'm having some overlay issues.
Okay, I'm gonna run through KDCM builds here. We've got an Executioner. That is the hero with the mask. I forget the name of it. Skokomisher with Snubnose PPC MRM10, Quad MRM10. Crusader, 3 light PPC, 11 small laser. So that is not Snubnose PPC. Executioner with 4 ER large, 10 ER micro. Snack, if you're pushing, I don't know why you have ER large. Now, this has been spotted. Somebody's gotten the scout from the water. It's large pulse, heavy large on that Marauder 2. And Vapor Eagle, Vulcan hero with SRMs and heavy machine gun. Viper, which is small pulse and standard machine guns, and then 2 mechs that are going toward around Theta, but I don't know if they're going to commit to that. It is a Piranha and with a standard machine gun and a Black Lantern with red laser.
All right, cool. All right, I am back in. I don't know who's going to end up with lobby, so that'll be interesting.
Okay. Are you?
Yeah, we are back. Oh, here's that KDCM push on the island. And 5J holding out, not getting caught out by that. All right.
Yeah, 5JDX has ER large out of the Rancor with red laser backup. They're buffering with a Skull hero, Orion 2C hero with ERPPC and Gauss. Vapor Eagle has ERPPC. Warhawk has 5 large pulse. Definitely a receive against Brawl. Brawl is going into the water.
Ooh, KDCM really spread out for this push. This is not going to work out for them. Jay really messed up here. Unless they can pinch, who are they catching over here? Dario
Brower
and the Flea.
Black Lantern can probably get out. Yeah, Dario's at 60%.
Oh
Actually
yeah, there
down.
goes Dario. Dreadnought down. It's 1-1. Advantage
Windscape gets,
2. There goes.
wow,
Oh,
just got one
all right.
shot there.
KDCM
Both
turning
legs
it
went
down.
out.
Yep, good focus on that. All right, we're chasing Weapon
Well,
Master. I think next is on the chopping block with Shone and Giggity coming around the backside, trying to prevent Jiffy from getting
Weapon
too many
Master's
shots. There
down.
goes Weapon so fast. All
Both
right,
legs.
Kieran.
And
Here we
Kieran's
go.
open leg already and getting dove.
Oh man,
They're down in seconds here, I
KDCM with the
imagine.
push. They were real spread out. I didn't think it would
Yeah.
work out for them, but they're turning this around
They're
real nice.
rotating that
Jiffy,
armor very nicely.
oh yeah, Grolsch looking at here,
Jiffy's
and
being
here you're gonna
ignored.
see, yeah, Jiffy coming back here now. Watch the armor rotation on this one, guys. KDCM's armor rotation going into this push is beautiful. As I was mentioning, Jay was sort of caught out and really kind of messed up. Kind of ended up in the back of the pack, right? While the rest of the armor went forward, allowing him to keep his weapons on the field, and that's what you need.
And then they
came in
rejoined the
here with
fight. They
speed.
didn't just hang out, even though they're 24%. They rejoined that fight. They just made sure that somebody else was in front of them.
Yep. And using that armor, and that is how you push. That is that armor rotation that we like.
Bacon Lord's trying to kite this. They do pick up a kill.
Yep,
their leg is open already on
No.
Bacon Lord, and those ER larges out of that Executioner, the 4 ER large from Sneck, probably could take this leg here, which would then a headshot apparently on that the Viper. Bacon Lord's leg. This is now over. They did pick up another kill.
Yeah.
But,
Can you? Well, I was gonna say, can you give me the cap? Because mine are bugged, but there we are. Sorry about that little hiccup, folks. We got back into the fight as quickly as we could.
so yeah, I did confirm the Viper was headshot. So.
Oh, very nice. Nicely done. I should grab the eye. All right. Stats.
So that's KDCM with 2 wins so far.
Yeah, that is KDCM with 2 wins.
They're looking
which
at
is
pulling
the
up this
upset.
upset here. I mean, that would be that 6th seed taking out a 3rd seed would be a little bit unpredicted.
Absolutely. And looking at, we've got Dreadnought in the Vulcan with the double Ds, but everyone else putting out good damage. Really nicely spread damage across the board, both teams, quite frankly.
And the
Low,
thing
but good.
about that Vulcan is that they threw it into the water to draw fire away from the rest of their team trying to cross the water. They just ran it directly into a concave of 3 mechs, which then turned to look at the Vulcan, and it's a sacrifice play. Absolutely 100% called. That would not be, just somebody running ahead of the brawl or anything like that. That was the distracting idiot as it is. So a double D, but the team picks up the win,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's go. I'm going to head on back to maps at this point, I guess. And we can take a look at some of that pathing and where that went. I think that's probably going to be our most useful here. Just drawing some of the path on KDCM. Obviously, we as we mentioned before, come on out here, take the island, which they did, and then they just started taking shots from the island and immediately started moving forward, and did a little encirclement around here. James taking out that flea, also very good, saying no caps for you, and that is essentially the path here. A very nice little pincher going on. It looked a little spread at first, but they made it work, especially with that. Oh, also, I forget who it was. One of the players taking the back route here to Epsi to get some of that kill.
Yeah.
Which really cut out. There were a couple mechs over here in Delta 3 that were not able to support those mechs. So it was basically pick after pick after pick.
It's
was
fairly
beautiful.
flat terrain at Epsilon, but there is enough slope that if you're in the water and they're in the water, they aren't able to see you.
Yep.
Just enough of a slope there.
Just enough. And a couple buildings in the way there too. Yep.
Well, once you get out to Epsilon, the buildings aren't in the way as much anymore. And that's the whole point of going wide from the Delta 4 push. Once they made it across the Echo 4, Delta 4, you go wide and you've got more buildings in the way. If you go shallow toward Delta 3, there aren't going to be buildings. So it's that wraparound path that you're pointing out here. The backside of Epsilon very much protects you on the way in.
Yep. And then I guess, just to pay it a little bit of homage here, there is a little light fight in, where was it? Tucked in the back.
back
think it
in
was
Charlie
there.
4,
Yeah,
Charlie 5.
that was James just absolutely taking out Dario there.
Yeah, I just caught the tail end of that one. I'm not sure how
Same.
it started.
Well, Dario said, "Oh, I should go get caps or get backstabs," and James said, "Nuh-uh." That's what happened there.
Nicely done. So the Vulcan did that sacrifice play, just running into the Delta 3 there, and allowed the team to cross Echo 4 into Delta 4 where they had cover. So I'm pretty confident that was called. And you know, it's one of those little things that that if you do it right, it really helps out the team. If you do it wrong, you're just some idiot who died, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all dependent on whether it works. And Jay took a lot of hits there too.
Oh, yeah.
He was at 63, 65% before he got out of the water. But again, that armor sharing, that armor cycling, those are the things. Like if you're a new team, that's probably the big takeaway about these KDCM pushes. They do their pushes right. They're not necessarily difficult. Push is a very viable strategy on a host of maps. But you also have to do it right. It can't just be the NSR, the no skill rush.
That's the difference.
There's skill there.
That's the difference between KDCM's brawl push and like your Div C, Div D team brawl push. Is that KDCM, they put the time in finding these push paths where they do have the cover going in, and then they have the armor rotation that is just a notch better than most other teams that try to do the brawl push. KDCM made brawl pushing an art, whereas it's thought of as a brain dead strategy. But KDCM's really they put in the work to do it right, and you know, it's really hard to stop. I've faced it in previous years, like in the Div B or whatever it was, before KDCM moved up to Div A. But the KDCM brawl push, you knew it was coming during that era because they didn't have that flexibility of strats, but it was still really hard to stop. Next map up.
Yeah, we are on mining, and we've talked about this a bunch. I'm just going to go ahead and remark these death zones. Will we see a KDCM push again? It's very viable. But yeah, basically I would expect on this side 5J to again take up these positions on Delta 3 here, moving up to Echo 4, Echo 3 up to Echo 4, and just try again map control. Their strat tends to be map control. KDCM, I'm almost thinking a side push. That's my thought. That I think is the play for KDCM here.
I'd expect KDCM to push on this map. They'll have jump jets on their mechs though, so they can get up into places, and I think this is a very brawlable map, and KDCM will be looking at that.
Yep. Not too much to say. We're just waiting on folks to lock up here. What that pathing might look like. You can come up the Charlie line, try to catch this guy in Delta 3, or this one you're going to see the Fox line push less often, but it's still doable. Just because of that, Echo 4 is really just such a power position there. They can just shoot down here on the Fox 4. Fox 4 ridge there, but actually expect maybe a little branch out here if they do the Delta line push there. All right, both teams are locked. I'm going to go ahead and put us into it. And we go.
That's a full 480 tons for both teams.
All right, here it is. If KDCM can pull this off, a 3-1 upset against 5JDX, I kind of hope they don't, because man, going to a drop 5 would be fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, let's get a little hype for this one. It's going to be good.
This is the first time that we've had other than a clean sweep so far in the Invitationals today. Both the previous matches went 3-0, so hopefully it's a hint to what's to come this evening as well.
Yes, absolutely. Let's see how it goes. Oh, actually, let me make sure scoreboard is properly updated. It is fantastic.
Waiting for the players to come in here. There we go.
Yep. All right.
All right, I'm going to be looking at KDCM here.
This, depending on their builds there, I think that's where I'm going to stick to. Because Hang on,
Okay.
what's with the catapult? All right, you go look at that. I'm gonna go investigate a JDX catapult over here.
All right. So we've got Night Gear, AC-10, ERPPC, Executioner, ERPPC, Red Laser Backup, Marauder with LPL, Heavy, Large. 3 Heavy, Large, 2 LPL. That is a quirk for heat skill limit. That is a big alpha, though. Standard machine gun, Small Pulse out of Viper. And I'm looking at Cat Mech here. We have maybe an early engagement. James Bond headed for Cap with machine gun, Small Pulse on Mist
This
Links.
is a push from JDX.
Okay, so we've got
SRM, a lot of SRMs here. Large pulse, couple of peeps on the XE, but for the most part, I think we're looking at a push.
Yeah, so we've got SRMs on the Dervish, but there's a lot of mid-range receive here on KDCM's team. Assassin 21 out of J. What is on that mech? SRM
that
6
might be
for
the
SRM
snubs,
6.
or-
So they have
the SRM one. Yep.
they have mid-range receive, but they're moving up toward Theta with it. That is against a push. This is not where they want to be located.
Yeah, I'm not sure they're expecting it, quite frankly. Let's see if
that
they can get a
catapult,
peek on
though?
any of the builds. SRMs, which is a really wicked. The convergence on that is very nice. It's a badass mech.
They're just
There,
hanging back
James.
and scouting, though. They're not making that push yet.
Yep. James trying to sneak up on Bacon Lord a little bit. Looks like they have spotted him a little out of position, calling the Wolfpack over here. Or the Dervish Assassin.
Almost mirror
James
decks
pushing
to
in.
some extent, just different builds or different chassis taken, but a lot of the same roles.
Yep. Looking at Dario, a little hurt. Let's see if I can find.
Oh,
him.
here's a skirmish coming out. Jay, it's a 3v2. Catapult's getting jumped from Bacon Lord. That catapult is not the fastest or most strong mech. They're legged already. Bacon Lord's legged.
Yeah, they had him targeted for a bit. They were stalking him, waiting for the rest of the team to get out. There goes Bacon
Early
Lord.
death. Now, KCM's continuing to push.
Taking some damage for it, though. Yeah.
Next up
Dario
is the Summoner.
in the mix.
Summoner's down. Wow.
Yep. Chun's going down as well. In that Viper, they're continuing to push. Weapon Master X going down. Is this going to be a KDCM upset?
It looks
There
like
goes
it.
Koger and Neck. It is currently 6-4.
Night Gear's leg no longer able to participate in the fight. They legged him and left
Jiff
him.
and the X's getting jumped here.
That's the mech with the carry potential.
Giggity. That's going to bring it back a little bit.
Oh, both legs open on the Executioner. Once that's down, this is over.
Oh, yeah. And they got Grolsch just laying into whatever he can. But here comes James getting into the back of Grolsch.
Down?
Yeah, he was cooking himself pretty hard. So,
legs open.
Yeah, just trying to save that. Here's Dario and James. Dario trying to prevent Grolsch from going down. Just provide that pressure on James. James still going for Grolsch. Grolsch open on the leg. FD going down in that Night Gear. Bringing it close. It is 4-2. Dario still trying to hold off James. Grolsch going down as the cavalry comes along. Let's see how James is doing. James has an open leg. I'm sorry, James with actual leg. Dario with the open leg, managing to just kind of stave it off. Last mech, though, I don't think he's going to be able to hold it against the 3 here. Both legs open.
The other thing is that Mist probably doesn't have the ammo to carry this out. That's
oh god, no, not
the heavy
not
machine gun.
They're not nearly damaged.
Micro, there's not enough ammo there.
But Dario taking James bomb before he goes, and that's a KDCM upset, folks.
Yeah, 6th seed beat the 3 seed.
Look forward to see 5 JDX in the queue.
This is single elimination. So yeah, 5 JDX now has to play ComQ if they want to make it into the top 12 portion of the Worlds.
Wild. I didn't see that coming. I thought it would be close. I didn't see KDCM with not the sweep, but it was wow, way to go. Both teams there. Heck of a fight, heck of a cast. Let me see here. Let's head on over to that scoreboard. There we are. Looking at those damages, 500s on the KDCM teams there.
Jay had 500 damage. I didn't actually get to see much of them fighting, but that is a lot of damage coming out of 4 SRM6s on that assassin. Yeah,
that's some killers on both teams there. Wow, just way to go both teams. And that's going to do it for this part of the cast. I mean, we'll do some wrap up here. But
so KDCM they made their name Q Dodgers, and now they've pulled it off.
they have dodged the Q. That's right. Incredible. Unexpected upset. 6 taking on a 3 in a commanding 3-1 sweep.
Yeah.
All right.
That is not what I was anticipating here. I mean, I was hoping that it'd be close. I was expecting it might be close, but for KDCM to actually pull off the upset, and 5JDX deciding to brawl on the Mining Collective against KDCM, that is,
it's not necessarily their strength. Their strength is much more in the trade than in the brawl. They're a flexible team, but if I had to choose one thing for them, it would be the trade, because they are precision
you might be a team that's capable of outbrawling most of your opponents, but it's KDCM. Like they're the masters of the brawl.
Well, they're the brawlers. Sometimes the brawls don't work out. They do what they can with them.
That's true.
For sure. But if anyone knows how to do it, it is 100% them. All right.
Wild time there.
Yeah.
Are we wrapped up for our first 3 drops here?
We are wrapped up for our first 3 drops here. We will be back in about, 4.5 hours, same channels, same setup. Hopefully with less interruption on my end. My stream just all the things went wrong, but hey, we made it through. We'll get that squared away.
We're working on it. But anything we want to wrap up here in terms of revisiting that strategy on the map here, maybe perhaps before we.
We could take a quick look. I think that is a good idea. Switching over to our map room here. From the Team 2 side, which was the KDCM side, interestingly enough, we did not see the outside push. We saw a little bit of movement in that general path there. James scouting it out over here in Delta 4, finding Bacon Lord just sitting up there on Delta 4. Not unwatched, but definitely a little more estranged from his teammates. And the rest of them just kind of gathered up here around Echo 4 and waited to make their push. And that is where that pincher movement came. Bacon Lord moved into the fight. ADCM began their push. Bacon Lord was like, yes, I will shoot these mechs, as he should. And then the light pack descended on him for their first kill. A couple of light shenanigans around the outside. But yeah, here we've got those... there it is. There's our death spots right there. That is where the fight took place.
Yeah.
That is where 5J was. They were a little bit... They did have mechs up on Echo 4 here as well, up in this corner. I think there to differentiate. But yeah, they did have a couple mechs up on there, but KDCM had the mechs to push them off to do the damage.
Yeah, and KDCM killed the brawlers first. Like the catapult getting picked, and then the summoner was like second or third mech to go down. Summoners are relatively tanky, but they just focus fire blew the legs off so fast there. That they were killing the mechs that had the high DPS before picking off the mechs that had the lower DPS in terms of like the laser vomit mech out in Fox 4, kind of being one of the last to go down. That's the way you want to do it. You want to take the DPS out first when you're in a brawl situation.
Yep, and KDCM using that cover too, like that only when they crossed over the saddle, they'd killed a few mechs at that point, were they sort of in range of that in range of those blue lasers. Had a little moment there.
I mean, the executioner was well positioned to get shots in, but that was just next target kind of idea, and the Marauder 2 pulled back from wherever it had initially set up, but it was 5 LPL that just ends up running hot once it gets jumped on. And the mislinks in the back, that's just something that is frustrating to try and deal with that type of a mech, that type of a build.
Yeah, absolutely. It was, I think, good build, but it just couldn't provide the Overwatch, right? It got stuffed into a corner, had limited range, and was then forced into the brawl. And then James having some trouble. There was kind of an entertaining little fight. Dario trying to push him off, and Jane saying, "No, this one's mine."
The melee combat coming in clutch there,
Right, absolutely. No, that was last match. That's basically how that brawl pushed out. And look at this pathing, folks. Look at the motion that went over here, and where 5JD fell into a trap, and it's that Echo 4 death zone. KDCM just pushed them into it and pushed them out of those high spots, and really executed that very well.
Yeah, well played from both teams. Intense, nice fight to watch. We got a real match here, not some 3-0 sweep. And coming up this evening, the it's a 4th seed versus 5th seed, so that should be a tight match as well.
Yeah.
Between Dark Sea Corsairs and Sky Rangers, Jaegers. Jaegers, Jaguars, which one was it?
Jaegers?
Is it Jaegers or Jaguars? It's Jaegers, right?
Wait, I'm sorry. You're talking about what's coming up, right?
Yeah, the upcoming.
That's
team.
right. Yeah, Jaegers, German for hunters.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But for some reason, I was thinking Jaguars. Was there Jaguars?
No.
Okay,
You might be thinking vaguely 5
going
JDX
crazy,
who has a
right?
Jaguar in their logo.
Yeah.
But here, I'm looking at the chat. They're going absolutely nuts, as they should be. Hell of a match. It is KDCM coming out ahead of us. We're going to wrap the stream here. Thank you, everybody, for coming by and dealing with our interstitial stuff. We'll be back again, like we said, with Jaegers v Dark Sea Corsairs. And another knockout single elimination. We'll see. Will we have another upset? I don't know. We'll see you in about 4 hours.
Yep.
And I'll see you soon, Therax.
Okay, great.
Go ahead and close out our streams.
That's it. Thanks for watching, everyone.